Don't be scared. Stepping up, don't be scared. Yo, what's up, everybody? I think it's Saturday. I don't know what day of the week it is. I haven't done anything at all this week. I've been chilling, relaxing, enjoying the week. It's getting hot outside. How is everybody? I know Matt's here. I sent Dan the man the link. I don't want any excuses. Get in here. Let's talk about it. There's a lot of hate in the world. We're getting out of control today. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk some shit. That's it. I'm tired. Yeah, that's the new intro song. We're going to do some craziness with it. I don't know what yet, but we're going to do some fun stuff with it. It's happening. Matt Cave does have a great beard. It's fantastic. Don't forget about it. Oh, my God. We're getting out of here. Oh, my God. It's madness. All right, we're bringing in people. We're going to start bringing in people. Dan, I sent you a link. Matt, I sent you a link. No excuses. It's Saturday. It's Saturday. I brought somebody in.
What's going on?
Oh, shit. What's
shit.
up?
My master.
Oh, shit. What's cracking, dog?
Hello, Star Wars.
So, the world has gone mad. I have kept my toes out. Matt, I'm going to send you the link too. You're more than welcome to get in here because you're on a weird side of the fence right now. So I'm going to send you the link too. You're more than welcome to join. Yeah, the Twitter sphere and oh shit, he showed up. Oh shit, I'm gonna let him get a second. I'm gonna let him get himself organized. Oh shit. Oh no, he showed up.
What up?
What's cracking? So it's Saturday.
What's up, family?
What's up, Doe? How you doing?
Hold on.
It's
what is going on with this Wi-Fi right now?
Oh, you look good to us, dude.
Looks chilling.
I'm gonna send Dan, you need to send me your address in the Discord so I can send you some stuff to make your life better and easier.
Yes.
We got some stuff laying around that we can help you out. That's it. I've had enough. Send me an address in the Discord. That's it. We're gonna make it happen. All right. So Dan's taking a minute. He can't handle himself. He's gonna need a second.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna decompose myself. All right, so we're gonna talk. Like I said, I invited a bunch of people here. This is gonna be a little bit of a Shillathon. We're gonna make. There's another Dan. There's two Dan the Mans back there.
All right, I'm in the shill category right now. Let's go.
Okay.
I think you are in the shill category. Just because I think you have been enjoying what we're seeing. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I've liked Star Wars for quite some time. Come on now. I mean, Bad Batch to me was really good. Like, for real.
What's that, Dan?
Obsession said there's no excuses. Get in here.
There's no
right
excuses.
now.
Get in here, bro. There's no excuses. I'm sorry. It's Saturday. If you're playing video games, I don't want to hear that ish. Push pause, switch over, get your cam on. Let's go. I'm tired of this. We're going to talk about it. There's so much. Look, there's other streams on right now that are bagging on Kenobi, right? There's other videos posting today that are bagging on the show. I have held resentment. Not resentment. I have held comment. I have held criticism. I've held praise and everything because I'm not ready. I got 2 more weeks before I can really let my opinions be known. But damn, girl, can we get a little patience in this bitch? I mean, come on, man. It ain't over.
Apparently no patience in the Star Wars fandom, bro. None.
It's all or none, right? That's it. It's all or none.
Yep. Yeah. We need our cake. We need it right now, goddammit.
Yeah. It's like screw the candles, forget the candles, put them away. Don't even sing. Don't just give me the cake so I can put my face in it. That's it. They don't want to cut it up. They don't want slices. Forget your pie. Forget your plate. Forget your fork. I'm gonna eat it with my bare hands, with my mouth, just shoving it on the cake. It's my cake. That's it. That's how I read it. Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. They don't want to savor the flavor, bro. They don't want to savor it.
I mean, look, I'm not gonna sit here and I'm a shill anyway. According to the rule books, I'm a shill because I don't hate anything. Right? I dislike things, but because I refuse to hate any of the content that has come out ever, I'm a shill, right? Cool. I'm a shill. I'll be a shill. I mean, I'm a Disney shill. Disney, I like you. If you want to sponsor some videos or send some leaks my way from here on out, I'm leaking everything. I'm just gonna say it. Look, I'm gonna say it out loud. Look, y'all, I'm leaking everything. Okay. If I get a piece of information, I'm leaking it. Bad Batch, Ahsoka, Andor, Kenobi season 2, anything. I have waited months, and y'all ruining shit for me. Spoiling it in my chat. That's it. I'm leaking everything from here on out. Forget it. That's it. I'm a ruin some days. So, because it's been hard to like not see anything. But then you like watching the show with your friends and they're like, this sucks. And it's like, really, dude? This sucks?
Yeah.
This sucks? Like, bro, I sucks? Like, okay, maybe not great. Right? Not all the time.
Sucks is reaching, my guys.
But sucks?
I'm talking about that Mr. Fantastic stretch. Like,
I mean, like I said, I am not going to air my dirty thoughts on this right now. I'm not going to put it out there. I'm not going to entertain any of that stuff, right? But after the show's over, cool. But right now I'm chill and I'm going to try not to not to hate on it, but
take them receipts though.
Bro, I mean, look, just saying, dude, there's a lot of beautiful stuff in here. Am I wrong?
Oh my goodness. So much.
Not wrong at all.
Not at all, man.
I mean, there's some real bitching stuff in here, right? I'm not crazy in that.
I think I'm crazy for loving episode 3 the way some people were reacting to it, my guys. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I walked out of that episode one of the happiest fans of life. I could not imagine a better Vader, and how Kenobi was during that moment was probably perfect. Like, this is what have I done? Like, that's what he's thinking. Like, he's kind of created Anakin at this point, and the fact he left him alive, like, he's also been, powerless for 10 years because he's, went into exile, has been waiting for Qui-Gon to kind of respond to him and has not had any kind of response. I mean, the dude is as hopeless can be. And to see Vader take advantage of him and then be like, nah, this ain't it. Like, I want my revenge, but you got to suffer. And
well, I mean, was this look, and like I said, I'm reserving judgment. I'm not saying nothing about like or dis. I'm not saying nothing until week 6 is over, and then I'm a shout so loud about this, that, or the other. But I'm gonna wait. There's been some good. I want to hear about your guys' good. I want to hear about your guys' bad. I'm gonna reserve judgment. I'm gonna sit here and be the court until all the evidence is presented, and then I'm gonna put my hood on. I'm gonna grab my gavel, and then we're gonna talk about this shit. But my thought, and this is my big issue right now, and this I've wanted to talk about this for a couple of days, but I kind of had to be in the right mindset for this shit because I kind of got a little irritated, and the idea that these two words can be paired together, right? There's two words that are paired together right now that I don't understand. Toxic positivity. All right. Or positive toxicity, however you want to spin that top. What the shit is toxic positivity? Right? What is this? What? I don't understand. I was watching Den of Nerds the other day, and I could only watch for a little bit because I got real Rogered. Right? See, Dan just got Rogered. We're gonna wait. I got real Rogered. Right? I got kind of annoyed at this, at even the thought that this is a term. How can you be toxic when you're positive? right? I don't like. I get toxic and negative; those two are go together, right? But when did toxic and positivity become this thing? I'm curious.
When Josh
Chat,
made
please.
it.
Josh. No, but it's not just him.
No.
This shit's all over Twitter, even before Josh mentioned this whole thing. And
I
it's just like, what's the scoop here? Does anybody know?
I mean, there's toxic people in every aspect of life, so you can be toxic in the way you're coming across as a person to other people, but like to put that in a broad spectrum of positive fans and say that we're toxic or that it's positive toxicity or whatever you want to call it. It's funny. Like I don't know. I don't see it either, but like
I just look. I mean, look. I get it. I get it. If you are on the other side of the fence and you feel wronged, right? I think a lot of people right now feel really wronged, maybe in their Star Wars experience this year. Perhaps let's call it that. Let's start there, which is fine. You're allowed to be unhappy with the content that's being created. No one is forcing you to enjoy everything.
Of course, everyone. Yeah,
but when did look, I get that people want to burn down the House of Mouse, right? I get it. I get that the House of Mouse has not been particularly kind to some of the characters we love, right? Even though some of the characters we love, the actors that played them are like, can you please kill me in the first movie? Because I don't want to play this character anymore. Right. And that's okay. To have actors that are just overplaying certain characters, that's perfectly fine. I just don't understand why liking something is toxic. Like, I'm not telling people, I'm not one of those people that's saying, well, if you don't like this, then you're not a real Star Wars fan. I'm the Star Wars fan regulator. And if you don't like it, you're not a real Star Wars fan.
And it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Please, somebody in the chat, please, somebody explain it to me. Help me see what I'm missing, because I'm not one of those people saying, if you don't like this, you're not a Star Wars fan. I'm not saying that ever at all.
No, yeah. No, I definitely do not say that either. Like, everyone's allowed to have their opinions on Star Wars, especially Star Wars. Like, we all have our opinions. It's just how it is. Like, and half the people at this point like it, half the people don't. It's kind of how it is. It's been like that for a while.
I don't blame you. I'd have put the guns away too. That just can be intimidating on live streams. I put the guns away too. But yeah, man, I just don't understand why liking something and saying I appreciate this work of art is toxic. When did this? I mean, don't get me wrong. I get it. It's Twitter, it's YouTube, it's the internet, it's the media, whatever. But it's just, I just don't get it. Dan, can you give me some take on this? Because I mean, it seems like this is it's easy to be negative. So all of those that are negative, it's lazy to be positive. Thus they call people that are positive. I don't really understand that at all.
You good?
Dan's at it. He's had it. He's like, I can't take it anymore. Dan, thoughts?
Yes, I'm here. Man.
Oh, see, Skynet is just after Dan today, I think.
They're getting them.
So, okay, I think he means people who embrace all things Star Wars without giving consideration to the content and context, and then those people who then condemn those who don't agree with that. It's wonderful. Look, I'm not condemning anybody. If you choose to be negative about the content, that's on you. Look, again, I'm going to say this a third time. I haven't paid out because I'm waiting to the end of Kenobi to pay out. I was going to pay out live on stream the other day, but I'm going to wait till the season's over. and then I'm gonna pay out my debt.
I think Smalls was saying like maybe Josh is meaning this with positive toxicity or whatever, is that people who embrace all things Star Wars without considering the context and context.
Well,
And
okay,
then,
but look, I'm not taking the context of this show out.
no,
I got
and I don't think either of us are.
no,
Like,
but I mean,
let's like kind of, I guess, put it there. Is like I know people, I know on Twitter that some of the negative toxicity out there, it definitely could get to us, but neither of us are positive toxicity. I don't think either of us
well, and
really fall on that
I
spectrum.
don't think that term exists. I think is for me I feel like that's a stupid thing to I mean, I guess I don't want to say it like that. That's I mean, help me out. Is there such a
What's
thing as
that, Rizman?
toxic positivity? Positively toxic? Is that a thing?
Sure seems to be, and it doesn't only seem to be related to Star Wars here lately. As someone who just got taken to task for liking the new Jurassic World movie,
Bro,
it seems to be quite rampant right now. In
can I see the bottom of your foot or like behind your ear where they earmarked the clones that are Matt Rissman that moderate the internet and YouTube? Because I think we got one of the clones that likes everything. I think y'all switched rooms by accident, you know, kind of like in Squid
growing
Games,
the goatee back.
right? The Squid Games, there's different.
I have to say honestly on this point, right? It's tough. It's tough to be in the middle of the road on this series because it does seem like there are only two possible options here. You either really like it or you really hate it. And if you're anything trending towards like it, then you're a fake fan, you're a shill, you don't know anything about what you're talking about.
I'm going to post this up just because I think it's funny. The name is my favorite part of this post, and I'm just going to put it up there because I think the name is perfect. Yeah, and is it just popular? Is it just clickbait? I mean, really, is it just a clickbait thing to lure people into their channels, to their to their Twitter, to all this stuff? Is it just bait?
I do think there are some people who legitimately don't like this series. Right?
No, I'm saying the term toxic positivity.
Oh,
right?
toxic. Yeah. So
is it just bait?
Yeah, because I think that term originates from the fact that when we don't like things, right, that the majority of folks do like, we're called toxic. Right. So they had to invent something that was the flip side of that, right? And so it's an oxymoron, right? Toxic.
Well, look, I'm used to being on this side of the fence, right? I'm used to it. I don't dislike anything that basically Star Wars has created. I kind of run with the curve. Look, there's, like I said, there's things in this series that make me go, I gotta wait till this finishes to really pass judgment. And then there's things in this series that make me go, holy ball sacks. Like, what happened, Batman? Like, where did this come from? Right? Like, there are moments where I'm just literally at a loss for words. And I'm watching this show. Like, I watched this show the other morning before we really got going, and I'm sitting in my office here watching, and I'm literally like gasping and looking closer at the screen and finishing and rewinding. How I don't understand how you can't just get through the work before you're gonna shit all over everything that they did. Because I'm like I said, I'm not passing judgment, but I don't hate this show.
Well, not only so here's the most interesting thing for me about it, right? Because I think we operate in a sphere of influence that's very charged up, right? That has a lot of hardcore and passionate fans. I just came from eating at the Outback that's walking distance from here and had quite a few conversations with folks at the bar, right, about this series.
Yeah.
Not one person I talked to said they hated it. Right. And it was like I was taking an informal poll. It just came up. Right.
Yeah.
They know I'm a Star Wars fan, and they're like, oh, we had a great time watching this. It's really making a connection with Leia. And, we didn't expect some things that happened in the last episode. And, they really have our attention. Can't wait to see what happens next. Right. And so it's kind of funny to me in a way, right? Because there's a certain frame of mind that says, "Oh, there'll never be a second season. And they would never think about doing a Reva spin-off show and any of the rest of it." And I'm kind of like, yeah, probably yes to both of those things, right? Because from a
Definitely.
general perspective, the series is quite successful, right?
Well,
People
and
like
and
this
the
series.
Muggles love it. The Muggles are eating it up. I would bet to say when this series is over, the prequel viewing will take a giant spike forward. A giant spike on what Disney Plus sees on the Phantom Menace,
I hope
Attack of the
so.
Clones, Revenge of the Sith, because the backstory that they showed in the prelogue, the prelude, was a brilliant cut, right? Just that minute or whatever of previously on, which was a brilliant way to give the Muggles just a little bit of context, right? You didn't have to watch the whole Megillah, but if you did, you were a step ahead of everybody. But they gave you a really nice intro into this series, which I thought was a really stroke of brilliance by Deborah to say, look, I know everybody isn't going to have watched everything. So here's
And here's the rest of it, right? It's not a great movie, but this is perfectly watchable television. Take it from someone who knows. I watch a lot of television. I always have, right? And I think part of the other reason why a lot of folks in our sphere of discussion are a little bit disquieted by the series is they feel like there wasn't enough money spent on it. They feel like it's not theatrical quality. And I'm like, it's a fucking television show.
well,
Right. It comes right down to it. It's TV. Right. And I'm like, if
yes.
they wanted it to be theatrical, they would have put it in the movie theater. We can debate whether or not it would have played better as a movie versus television until the cows come home. I'm fine with that. But you have to judge it for what it is. It's TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Matt,
think my perspective has been that it's been pretty top tier TV in terms of how it looks compared to other television shows. I mean, Marvel looks really good too, and they're obviously similar production and everything. So of course they're gonna look just as good, but that's kind of the only competition, and that's in family. So it's like,
well, and I mean, go one
so of
step.
course,
Look, I'm gonna say the other side of this. I think the reason it looks and feels the way it does, number one, is that's the look of TV for Disney, for Disney, Lucasfilm, Star Wars, right? That's number one thing. Is it seems like this is the look they're going for. They're not going for uber polished, right? But even though some of this shit is just stunning, but at the same time, we got to remember that this show is excessively over budget, right? This show has already been rebudgeted because they shot a whole thing and it was not anywhere near what we needed to see and what the story was. And so they put that in the trash and started completely over. So technically, this line item has been very large in comparison to Boba Fett, Mandalorian, other things like that, because they've had to do it again. And that's something that people forget, is that this has already gone through one full set of pre-production, production, and post-production twice. And so that dollar amount is large. I think if this would have been Deborah's budget from Jump Street, she would have put together something that I think would have been amazing. But they came in with this really small window because they weren't sure. I mean, are people going to like this? This story is short. Is this going to be something later? And then the response, I mean, I know there's a lot of angry people. I've taken the temperature in the YouTube community, on the Twitter sphere. But like you said, I feel like, man, the real world Muggle impression of this show is 2 thumbs up. I don't care what Rotten Tomatoes says.
yeah,
Well, and also you have to understand the Rotten Tomatoes score is based on 4,000 votes now. I looked at it earlier.
Yeah.
So, but again, we tend to accept or reject Rotten Tomatoes scores when it fits the narrative, right? If you want to accept
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes, Morbius has a better score than fucking Revenge of the Sith.
Oh,
Right.
Star Wars Rebels is the best thing in Star Wars, my guy.
So
Right.
yeah, so I mean, and you look at IMDb compared to Rotten Tomatoes, and I think the series is still trending at about an 8 out of 10, right, in regards to voting there, and it had hundreds of thousands of verified votes on. But again, it doesn't fit the narrative, right? So you have to take that for what it's worth. Do I think people are botting it up and generally saying they don't like it? So out of 4,000 people, what we're basically saying is 1,800 folks didn't like it.
Right.
Okay. I mean, that seems reasonable to me.
Well,
Right? I'm a math guy. I mean, but you have to understand what the numbers mean.
Right.
When you evaluate those kinds of things, and of course doesn't fit the narrative, so we don't talk about that.
Well, and I mean, there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of good stuff in this show. I am not disappointed. I'm not disappointed with Vader. Some people are disappointed. I am not. I think that's a pretty ruthless Vader in that suit. I'm digging it. And that's kind of the Vader I kind of always expected, and I'm glad they gave us that, not a watered down version. And I think the dislike is a little bit backwards this time than in previous shows, because I feel like there's a lot of people. Well, I guess it's kind of equal. The hate is out there on both fronts. The hate for Vader was out there, which I don't get personally. And the hate for Kenobi and his weak-mindedness and his weakness, I don't think people grasped.
Really? I feel like the hate's been on Reva and like the Grand Inquisitor situation, Darth Vader a little bit too. Kenobi, I feel like there's been a little bit of like weird things about, but I feel like other than that, it's been like nitpicky stuff, like the trench coat thing, which like how the hell else were they supposed to hide her? But whatever.
I mean, I would have, again, those are some of the moments where I would have preferred her like on his back, hanging on his back, and he's got a humpback. Like I would have preferred something silly and dumb like that than 4 feet. Yeah, I mean, there's moments. Look, there's moments. There's a couple of moments.
Perfect, but
when it comes right down to it, there's a cost of doing business and watching a Disney show, right?
Yeah.
Say what you want about Disney, right? But when it comes right down to it, and again, we've seen this thematically through all the Star Wars that they're doing, right? This whole parental, I said this the other day, right? Whether it's Din and Grogu, right? Whether it's Hunter and Omega, right? Now we've got Ben and Leia.
Oh, yeah.
You could say it's Boba and the child Tusken or the Vespas. Fill in your favorite way to think about that. When it comes right down to it, they are pulling at those familial heartstrings. And again, I think the little Leia actor is killing it.
Oh,
100%
fired, dude.
And everyone I talk to, right, again, who isn't picking the series apart, says they really love the interaction between Kenobi and Leia. So again, say what you want about the writing and say what you want about the impact of the series. What they were trying to elicit is being elicited.
Yeah.
Right. People are getting it, whether your barrier to entry says they should even be doing the story in the first place. The majority of the folks that are watching it seem to like the story a lot.
Well, and I feel like for me, the Leia character specifically, it has nothing to do with her interaction with Kenobi, really. For me, her character is like, it's like watching Carrie. It's like watching a young version of Carrie in that character. She is so like when she's schooling the cousin, right? When she's sitting there, literally, you can see her. And I don't really understand this in the Inquisitor moments, but you see her using the Force, but she doesn't know what it is. She just knows, like, I just know how this person feels. That's all she knows, right? You're not hearing the sound that you would normally hear with somebody using the Force, right? It's almost, you have to interpret it for yourself in these moments. And she is really brilliant in her demeanor, in these calm in these situations, right? Like, this is the Leia I see blasting a hole in the trash compactor and saying, we're going down there, tough shit. This is what we're doing, taking control of the situation. But yet she still has that empathy for the average person. And it's just poetry to watch her bring Carrie's Leia back into existence. She's just, yeah, I hope we see more of her. I hope this isn't the only thing we see her in the Star Wars universe, because she's awesome.
I'd be down for more of her.
Now, what?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I think she's playing the role well, and again, I think a lot of the dislike for the story that they're telling with Leia is it's supposed to be a Ben Luke story, right? And again, there's so many the barriers to entry on this series are significant, especially for diehard fans, and I feel like a lot of the criticism that we are getting are for folks that entered with those barriers firmly attached. Right.
Well,
And so you either can reconcile those things or you cannot, right? But it's kind of like I don't know what you were expecting, right? If you enter into it with those barriers affixed and then they bear out your concerns, it's not a surprise.
right.
Yeah.
Well, and look, I have lost money. I'm waiting to pay out till it's over in case they sew some shit up, right? I don't want to pay and all of this, but I'm gonna end up paying out. I get everybody's upset. Now, is the real issue here spoilers and leaks and people's expectations of what they're going to see and knowing ahead of time? Because I feel like the saltiest dogs right now that are barking the loudest had a butt ton of information.
I mean, I've had all the leaks and consumed those since the very beginning, and there hasn't been anything in the series that, with the exception of the Jedi's and the Amber and a couple other things, that was a complete surprise, right? And some of the absolute brutality that we've seen. When you think about it, right, for a Disney show, this is the most brutal thing we've ever seen directed towards children.
100%.
But I mean, in regards to the way the leaks have played out and how they've memorialized that on the screen, I'm like, okay.
I can't have two matches.
It hasn't upset me one way or the other, right? I think the biggest problem we've had with the leaks is folks have consumed them and then said, gosh, I hope they're not true. If this is the story they're telling, it's a loser from the beginning. Can't believe they would do this, yada yada yada, and so on, right? And I'm like, Jason's leaks were right. So how do you how do you deal with that, right? You don't like the story, you didn't like the leaks, you don't like the story now. Again, that to me, that's another barrier to entry that was brought in, and that's manifesting itself now. And I don't know.
I mean, well, and I understand. Look, I understand some people's irritation with some things that are done, right? Fine. But the show's really actually, I mean, the anger for Reva's character has not been necessarily about the character itself. It's been a focus on her, much like Ahmed Best, much like the young actor that played Anakin in the Phantom Menace.
Jake Lloyd. Yeah.
There's a lot of these people. I mean, Hayden included in that. There always seems to be, John Boyega. There always seems to be this dislike and this attack from people towards one specific actor in a series, right? And is that just the trolls trolling, or is that the larger consensus that she sucks? Because I think she's playing this brilliantly.
For me, it took a rewatch to sort of get on board with her character. There was something about it the first time around. It rubbed me the wrong way. I was just kind of like, I don't know what it is. I didn't enjoy the performance. The second watch, though, where I'm absorbing more and I'm paying attention more, because that first time around, you're just like, whoa, everything's happening.
Oh, yeah. You're pinging.
Yeah, exactly. Second watch, though, I started paying attention to her character and how she was developing, the direction she was going. I was like, okay, now I'm really interested. But by that, was it the third episode? No, it was fourth episode where she's gonna torture Leia. She did not want to torture Leia. And even before that, when the brother was like, "You're gonna get what you deserve," and she's like, "I certainly hope so." Like she's in this weird zone that we don't know all the details yet for. And that's why I'm like, I just got to continue to be patient, and this is going to play out and become something. Now, whether or not I'll end up liking her story arc, that'll be determined in 2 episodes. Like it's either going to land for me, it's not. But it hasn't killed the show for me. I think having a new character is a good thing. And I see why people don't enjoy the show. I think the show is not moving fast enough for people.
Well,
I don't think they like the build.
Thank you for bringing up the point I was making. I was actually waiting for you, knowing you were going to inhale your food and get in here. And so you mentioned something the other day, and I don't know, we were chatting. We were probably chatting on Fortnite, but you were mentioning if this was cut as a movie, right? If this was cut as a 3-hour movie or a 5-hour movie or however long on the silver screen, I think Skynet got his ass too.
Oh damn!
Would you like it more? Because you wouldn't have to wait for tempo. You wouldn't have to wait for anything that they were doing, right? It would all be in your face at one time. Or if they would have just released it at once, Netflix style, and let you binge it, would the timing be better? Because we're waiting a week, which sticks these ideas in our brain that then starts to screw with us. And then here we are at the end of the day.
Yeah, and
I think Netflix style. Like I said it recently, but I feel like Netflix should switch with Disney Plus how they kind of do things, especially with shows like Kenobi and Stranger Things in particular.
Yeah.
Like if Stranger Things was a week-to-week release, like it would have had people going bananas, and then we wouldn't be waiting for the second half of the season.
Yeah,
and then with Kenobi, if it was released all at once, you wouldn't have the weeks in between where there is fans that create noise after a week they don't like, or an episode.
I think it would have made a wonderful movie, and I've been on that train since the beginning, right? And again, I know at one point it was supposed to be a movie, and then they opted to go this way, and some of the episodes are even short for television. But for me, I'm like, I think they could have banged out a very satisfying 2-hour and 15-minute theatrical experience here that folks would have been more universally content with as regards to what we're experiencing now on this weekly release.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Matt.
I was just like, you and I, Obsession, we were talking about this while we were playing Fortnite. It was this show. I know it's a show, so we're on like TV budget type stuff things, but it feels like it was shot like a movie. So I don't feel like an episode's ending. I feel like they just went cut right here, and then we're gonna pick up, and it doesn't like
we're in the third act now, right?
Yeah.
Right.
There's really good moments.
2 and now 2. I mean, that's absolutely what's happening.
Well, and it seems like there's really good moments of these really good moments of where he's getting on a ship. What a great time to put this in, right? Oh, you sons of bitches, you're not gonna let me do it, are you?
Probably not.
No. I gotta bypass this shit. Okay, so now that there's a couple of us here, we are going to we're gonna see. Tell me that shit on the right. All right, because I haven't seen a lot of this. I haven't seen a lot of buzz about this. There's four people that are digging the show. Tell me that shit isn't Mace Windu off to the right.
It's not. He's got his right hand.
But they had his right hand in the office, right? His arm was in Palp's. Palps basically took his arm and put it in his desk drawer, right?
Reattach the hand and then kill him again.
They just like, okay, you're gonna dip him in. Okay, get him. Okay, there's the lock. Okay, boom. Now pour the goop.
I've never been particularly on the Mace Windu lives train, but that ain't Mace.
I mean, dude, I'm just saying that
It's really mean
looks,
that they made him look very
That
similar.
looks really close to Mace Windu. I mean, I'm not saying that, you know,
Kinda
because
does.
look,
You gotta
I
stop
don't think it
trolling
is.
us.
I'm trying to keep this shit positive, so I'm trying not to say, you know this, people. I'm not saying all black Jedi look the same. All right.
I don't.
All right, because I don't want that shit coming my way. What I'm saying is there's a bald man in Mace Windu's outfit right now that happens to have the same pigment as that dude. All right.
Two things. I don't think it's Mace, and I don't think those folks are dead. Right. I
No,
think
I don't.
I like that.
Matt and I were talking about that the other day. We don't. I didn't think they're dead either. That seems
See,
very Maul.
Talk to me here. How do you think they're alive?
I
My
think they're dead.
speculation. My speculation right away was that same chamber that they keep Maul in, just a different style technology that actually like would freeze them in a carbonite style thing. And like Vader would do this because A, he is insane, and B, any other Jedi they're torturing or interrogating, he would take down there and want to see the other Jedi on display. The kid, bro, like
Well, and
I think it's a part of Palpatine's final plan, right? I think, and it's
that's the thing too. Like
they had what's her name in a
the
similar,
DNA is still encased.
Yeah, I mean, I think, but also you don't see any identifying marks on any of the ones they panned through that would make you think they were dead.
no.
Right.
In fact, the little boy,
Yeah,
little boy here. I'm going to rewind this just a skosh.
Yeah, the little boy.
The little boy
almost
looks like he's
pristine
running. Right? He looks literally like, this is the thing I love about this, because they think they can block me. They think they can hold me. All right. He looks frightened. There's no
so they
marks.
capture that emotion because he was frozen and in
there's
that
no
moment.
there's no
almost like he's being held up with a force.
there's look,
Yeah.
there's no motion, right? He looks like he's running away, right? So like you said, it looks like somebody grabbed him, shoved him in, and this looks, I mean, if you look at the, oh, that's weird, huh?
I'm looking at
All right. So I've been waiting to do that for a while. This looks like to me that they are, number one, Palpatine needs strong Force DNA to test with, right? He doesn't want to use he doesn't want to use Vader's. He wants to get the process down first and then bring in his DNA and start cloning himself again. This is more to the fact that we are leading, all roads are leading to the sequels, because we are going to start getting the clones, which is Rey's dad and so on and so forth. And this goes into the cloning, but you need that DNA, that force sensitive DNA to experiment with, because you can only take out so much of you and Vader before you.
And you can also infer from Dr. Pershing's comments in The Mandalorian related to Grogu, right, that the specimen who's providing the donated blood needed to be alive, right? He was very fixated on them not killing Grogu, right? So otherwise it becomes a fancy trophy room, and to me, this is with keypads and all the rest of it there, and the lights and
doesn't that
like overkill?
Doesn't
for
that
trophy
look
room.
a lot like? Now, just hear me out. This seems like they went and found when Vader found the Venator, the crash Venator that Ahsoka and the 332nd were rocking, that crashed, and Vader found Ahsoka's lightsaber. And by the way, check out my video on this. We did a big thing about it. Go find out. When Vader went to get that lightsaber, they scoured that entire ship. They probably dug that ship out to take it to Bogano, or not Bogano, take it to Braca, to disassemble, right? To make it into an Empire ship. Now, do you think they didn't go through this stuff, especially this ship that had Maul's case in it, this Mandalorian Jedi prison that lets them live, but they can't use the Force, they can only feel, right? Don't you think that the Empire would have taken a technology like that and reconfigured it with their scientists, maybe even brought some Mandalorian scientists in to help create this tomb? Right.
And again, nobody comes to this base, right? They made it very plain, right? That this is not like it's not like on the Empire's grand tour of anything,
There's
right?
no
So
shields.
why do you do
Mhm.
this as a trophy room or as anything else if they aren't still alive or there isn't some more nefarious plan behind it? Otherwise, it's just I mean, I know the Empire was showy, but who the fuck are they showing it to? No one
Well,
can get in there.
So, would you like to hear my theory that I've talked
Oh,
about a
yes.
little bit?
please.
I think they are dead, or to an extent, or maybe they've even had force extracted from them because some of them look like they're kind of soulless. If you like, get a cool like look at it, or it just looks like they've had something like kind of absorbed from them almost. But what if, yeah, just like that? What if they keep these like mummified versions because there's still like force essence within it, and that's how they use those husks or bodies of the mummies, if you will, to draw in other Jedi, because
It's
we
very
kind of
funny
see
that you
that
see that, my
Mm.
friend. Master Luminara was bait,
exactly.
right?
Yep.
They kept her bones for bait. They made before she died, they did these, these holographic viewings to show her so they could bait other Jedi. But like you guys saying, this isn't bait. Nobody knows these guys are here. Nobody knows what's on this base. There's no shields, for fuck's sake, right? This place is so. This place reads "fuck off" so much.
Well,
that
because
they
it's
don't
in
even
the
bother
Mustafar system too.
They don't even put shields on the motherfucker, right?
Mhm.
Like anybody can just fly. If you got the balls to fly in this place, bring it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, apparently none of the TIE fighters ever get
One of the one of the things in the writing.
Can no one get in one of these things? Really? Not one person.
Right.
Sorry.
I think when they actually write this stuff and Kenobi says that this is a tomb, I think that's them just literally telling us they are all dead. The way I took like the emotion, kind of like what she was saying, is I just imagine Vader like that's the fear that he put into them right before they were frozen. Like they knew they were about to die. Vader's torturing them, telling them probably exactly what's about to happen, and that's like their face. He's like staring into the face of his victims, basically, right before they die.
Because you look at these
Terrifying.
guys, they're not damaged.
Right,
Yeah,
that's what
yeah,
you're
There's no
saying.
lightsaber marks. There's no blaster marks. They're not missing limbs. They're preserved.
Except for
Mhm.
But
this.
here's something. Actually, I was just thinking about this because of what the youngling is wearing. Is that kid in the intro scene?
No, I
Bro,
looked
that would
for
be
him.
deep.
You
I
look
looked for him. It's not.
okay because he's
Um,
wearing that training helmet, the one that all the younglings are wearing.
Well, and the only
Dude,
reason,
and Riva goes down there and walks by that all the time, dude. Promise. Like
and
I do
there's-
think the one gal that had like the wrap on with the necklace, I do think that's intended to be Roken's wife, right? They
That's
made
what
a
I think,
pretty
too.
big point.
and who is
Roken
that? Can you
saying-
for the
O'Shea Jackson's
you think
character,
it's
right?
this?
Oh, okay.
You think it's
Yeah.
this woman?
No, the other one.
No,
like a shot after
The
that,
one that
or,
everyone thought was Seer.
Okay. That yeah. We were
the
on.
one that has like she has like I call it a wrap, right? But she had the necklace on. The adaptive speech made it a point to call her out. Also, I think that's supposed to be tying back to Roken's.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
and there's
that's interesting.
there's also another theory that okay, so you're talking about this woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's Roken's
So-
wife too.
There's another theory that Riva is his wife,
Mhm.
and that's what he was talking about
bro.
when he was saying I know about this. My wife was a Jedi or something like that. Didn't he say something like that?
Yeah, it was on it was Star Wars comics. He went into the theory talking about, and his basis was around him explaining what happened to his wife, and then immediately it cuts to Riva talking about basically the same thing. Everything was taken from me, and blah. So there's a basis for that theory, but I also like the idea that the wife is the one in the tomb here also. So it could go either way. It could go neither. But
It really depends on whether or not you subscribe to the fact that when Riva became an Inquisitor, right? Was
That's
it
the thing we
shortly
don't know.
after? If we assume that was her at the beginning of the Order 66 scene, right? did she become indoctrinated after that, or did she? Because when you hear about the Grand Inquisitor talking about her and the whole "you've been in the gutter and you've been on the run," it makes you think she survived into young adulthood at least, right, or in some form of
Well,
adulthood
and
before
she
she
doesn't.
became an Inquisitor. So I don't know.
Well, and they call her street rat, right? They mention, all the other Inquisitors mention that's something that they continuously tend to hold over her head, is that she's not really one of them.
Did they really say street rat?
Yeah, they call her
That's
street.
the whole "who's in the gutter now" and all that.
It's when
that
he's on the
thing
table.
was
It's when
because
he's holding
Yeah, I
her on
found you
the
in the
table,
gutter.
right? And then when the fifth brother is holding her on the table, doesn't he call her a street rat right there also?
Something like that,
So,
yeah.
Bro, I'm sorry. Her character is interesting as fuck. Like,
so the thing about it
finding
is
out when she turned.
you see these moments, but like I look at this prison. So for me, I look at this prison and everybody forgets that there's a whole nother row on top.
Oh yeah, the second floor.
Oh,
It's not just this bottom row. The bottom row is like the featured gallery here, right? Those are the featured exhibits of this thing, right? I'm sorry. If this was me, right, and I'm building this tomb or this whatever you call it, those two right there before the exit, basically before the he finds the room, the torture room, those would be the first two trophies that would go in there, wouldn't they? So that's why I kind of feel like that maybe, and I'm not saying it is, because I still want Mace and Kenobi to fight in the desert of Tatooine and make him bury Mace Windu next to Maul. I think that would be like so poetic and messed up. But for me, if this is Mace, that would be one of the first two, the little boy from a little youngling from the temple, and the first Jedi killed in the Purge, right? Because Mace was the first Jedi killed in the Purge.
Yeah.
So those would be the first two trophies I would see coming out of that room. It just, I mean,
So when you first brought this up to me, I was like, no shot Kenobi walks past a Mace Windu.
But he never looks in that direction at
right.
all.
So I go back and I watch the scene, right? And he's going systematically through the mall. He gets to that one, and right about to turn and look at that last one that looks like Mace Windu, and he hears Leia call out to him, and he goes right for that direction. Doesn't even look at it. So
never looked at that one.
Well,
I don't know why they do stuff like this.
And I feel like
he also doesn't go to any control panels and start tinkering with buttons. I mean, he does.
He's terrified.
He does call it a tomb.
He does call it a
right
tomb,
there.
and that's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, he's
I still
terrified.
don't think it's Mace, by the way. Again, right hand and the rest of it. But
I hope
right
not.
hand.
I mean, but if it's Palpatine, I mean, how poetic would it be to just see a scene with Palpatine going, you thought you had it over on me. I got your arm now, and stuff it in his desk and wait for it. Like,
I know some other folks were speculating that one of the ones that gets panned by was Quinlan Voss, right? There was somebody that seemed to have the hair that was similar to what we think of as Quinlan's hair, and obviously he's been mentioned in the series. But again, I think that's just folks.
I don't think that was him, because the way they talked about him, they were like, it was like he's still around, he's still doing this and bringing people to the path.
Well, we don't know when the last time is that he.
Which is awesome.
That's the thing too. Yeah, I think that room is. I don't think they're alive. I think they're being harvested for midichlorians and force sensitive DNA and all that stuff. I think this is.
I think they have to be alive to do that. Right?
I don't think they need to be alive.
They have to be on life support, otherwise that shit's.
We were saying it's like Amber, and it's like Jurassic Park. So
Yeah,
they don't necessarily need to be alive.
That's the thing. Like Luminara's skeleton was still emitting force. Like it was. It led them to her in the animated stuff,
and that looked very Mandalorian. Right, the case that they kept Luminara's bones in.
I was thinking about that.
Very Mandalorian, right? That looked just so. What it looks like that in that instance is that they did take footage of her in going to the prison, and it looks like they stuffed her in that box and left her in that box to die, like a mummification almost. And so,
what if they can transport them in those boxes, and that's how they draw in Jedi?
Fly?
That's what I'm saying. Like, they don't have to just stay there. I'm just saying, like, what if they can take them out of the little thing and put
like
them
the
in a
actual
little
carbonite
box?
chambers, like they can slide them out and.
Well, yeah,
Is that what
they
you're
can
saying?
pull them out and put them in
Yeah.
the boxes like Luminar was, and that's how they take them to whoever might know them or sense them, and that's how they draw out other Jedi.
I mean, that box just looked really Mandalorian. It just seems like after the purge of
Although
Mandalore that they found some of the secret boxes that they'd said they didn't have anymore, and maybe adapted that technology to this, because it just seems like you're seeing, like in the
I don't think
Carbonite,
Mandalore was destroyed or taken by the Empire at that point. It
at
was
10
still
years
kind of
at 10 years after the
it's
purge
still
had
ruled.
happened.
It's still the purge happens after Episode 6.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
It has-
Mandalore was never
You're
because the
telling me
Jedi.
the Empire left Mandalore to its bidding during the
yes,
entire
because
reign of
because
19
rebels
years? Really?
rebels we know for a fact they were still under Mandalore rule, or under, like, basically they made a pact with the devil, with the Empire, to kind of still rule their own space. But whatever happened after Sabine left, we don't know what happened. We just know that they were bombed, which makes no sense to me, because Din Djarin is like explain this at one point, and it's like, shouldn't he freaking know about this? Like, he
They were
should have
on the
been
moon
alive
of
during that.
on the moon of Concordia. That's why they didn't know, because that's where Din Djarin
They
was
had run away.
with the rest of Death Watch that had been exiled. So at this point, they were still in exile, and Gar Saxon is constantly trying to take over, which it's tricky. I mean, it's just so much. There's just so much going on right now that it's just.
There's a lot to unpack in there.
It wouldn't surprise me a bit if the Amber Tomb is in the setup for a tie-in to the new Fallen Order sequel, right? Because I know recently Kathleen Kennedy has been quite vocal, right, in her interviewing around the interconnectivity between video games and the storytelling. So some of this, I look at it and I'm like, okay, I could see them exploring some of this further, external to this series. Wouldn't surprise me.
Especially with how full of Fallen Order references that episode was already.
Well, and I mean,
that makes a lot of sense.
Now let's ask the $1 million question: is that Sabayoth in
the trailer?
Maybe.
Is the Jedi Survivor really a clone?
Bring back Starkiller.
I think it's new. I think it's a new person.
Could be a new character.
Yeah. Because the first game.
Before we go too far past it, I Rice mentioned this in the chat. The youngling. Somebody said they did a side by side.
They say it is in the Order 60.
It's the kid from the intro, which
I
would
find it,
imagine it has to be, because that intro has no bearing yet in anything.
Okay,
until that kid.
Well, no, it does.
Let's find out.
Because Riva is the main. Like
Riva's the main focus.
That's the bearing that it has, because
Well,
Riva is in it.
But that's not. It's not something that's been like said yet. Like that's what we're assuming. That's what we think is the case.
Right.
But to show a youngling wearing a training helmet from the temple,
I still think there's a chance we see her witness Anakin killing her friends.
That's what I think.
She's not after Kenobi. Riva is after Vader.
Yeah.
Right? Why, and to the extent of what she's witnessed, I think they've yet to tell us. But even Hayden in recent interviews has said things like, I think you'll be very satisfied with the culmination of Riva's character, etc. Right? So there's something else here to this part of the story that I hope.
Thank you. I was about to pull that up. I don't know why it looks so dark on yours.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can't see that at all.
The kid on the top right looks like he maybe could be, but I don't think he
He
is.
doesn't have the earlobes.
somebody was
I don't think it's quite the same though. Yeah, I think
He
I'm
doesn't. Well, no, because the kid in the I'm gonna show this one also, but the kid in the amber has like these weird tentacles off of his ears, right? And neither of these two boys are him. Maybe this one. Watch, I'll show you. I'll go back. I'll show you. So this.
Oh, you did it on there.
Of course.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Here's the kid.
I'm not there.
Yeah.
See those? See these? Right? I don't think
what is that?
I think if we had to pick,
It might be just a different angle, but
I think it has to be that.
I think it's a different kid. But they look very similar at the very least.
Bro, he's a little alien. He's got horns.
Sessionate himself for the
Sorry.
second time on the screen.
We gotta get rid of that guy. Yeah, I mean, it just seems like I would love that poetry. That would be so poetic to you. But maybe this was, and this is something I think is a little more interesting. How fucked is this for Vader? This could be the last youngling, right? This could be the last surviving youngling that I could see him going, stop, picking that boy up, grabbing him, choking him the entire way, and dragging him to the prison. Right? I could see him absolutely.
Jesus.
I honestly think
Show no mercy.
No mercy.
I personally think, again, just like the town square scene and some other things that we've experienced, I really think he's just there for shock value. Whether you think that or not, it certainly was shocking. Right? Whatever they were going for with this total doomed experience, it definitely had the desired end result.
And to go one step further, this is the distraction that kept Kenobi from looking left, right? This is the part, because that would have given us a definitive answer. This is the brilliance that is the writing in this. I know people are saying the writers are lazy, and this is episodes 1 through 5 just reincarnated in different things, and look, Fallen Order meets the blah, blah, right? all this hate, dude. Keep hating. I'm enjoying my experience.
Keep hating.
Obviously, the hate.
Keep hating.
Hashtag keep hating. But for me, seeing this youngling is just another example of their might, right? This is just another example, and Vader is really twisted. To think that, he was incapable before he was in the suit he killed a lot of kids, right? So, or maybe this was the kid that was found with Reva and she pushed him out into the hallway and ran away and let them take him instead of her, right? Like, I would love to see that scene, right? Where you see little Reva, she just pushes old dude out in the hallway and runs the other way and basically sacrifices a homie to get away. That adds to her.
Listen, as far as I never for a million years thought we would see Darth Vader in a Disney Plus show snap the neck of a child in the town square while the parents are bawling, right? So for me, all bets are off. I mean, we could see anything.
I've been saying it. I'm making a shirt right now. In fact, I'm just trying to get the right. I'm trying to maybe have somebody do some of their fun artwork on that Vader scene, but I mean, snapping necks and cashing checks. That's all he's doing there, right? Like, that's it, right? Like, he is just getting after it, dragging that woman through the town by her face, right? He didn't even bother to pick her up. He's like, no, you can stay in the dirt. Come with me. And he's dragging this poor woman through the dirt by her face. And then,
dude, all the Inquisitors look down when he comes in because, like,
they're scared of him.
Yeah, I think he's already taken their limbs at this point and everything.
Not only was it shocking, but the adaptive speech said even Reva was shocked. Right? I'm so sorry.
Okay.
The series is almost rated to TV 14. There's another echoing soundbite for you, right? This whole nonsense about the rating and all the rest of it. I'm kind of
okay, but this is something that I've been saying for a long time, right? And actually, this is not something that's not going to happen because Deadpool has officially been announced as a rated R movie, or at least a rated 17 NA at a minimum. So I think that Star Wars absolutely did Marvel a favor in cutting people in half, in delivering heads in bags in Mandalorian, and then
Disney
in this
Plus,
series, cutting people in half, dragging people through the street, snapping their necks. Like, he snapped that woman's neck when he was done dragging her.
Setting Kenobi on fire.
Setting Kenobi's face on fire.
Poor lady's hands in the square, hanging just for the hell of it.
So,
like, oh my God! Right?
Here's another question for everybody: Did Disney Star Wars? Because I know everybody's like, Disney Star Wars doesn't understand Star Wars, right? Okay, did Disney Star Wars finally figure out lightsabers? Because that opening sequence when Reba is like gonna slash through this dude, and the Inquisitor's like, nope. And you just see his arm starting to sizzle.
Oh, it was burning.
Right? Like,
that was cool.
I'm gonna give all the haters a bonus peg here. They're gonna get a bonus point. One more point for Slytherin. Are they going to? I feel like they finally showed us that the new generation of writers, and this is Deborah Chow getting in here and doing what she does because she understands Star Wars. Did they finally figure out lightsabers and how they work
No.
in Mandalorian?
I wish I could say yes.
No, too short, too bright. Too short and too bright. There's
Okay.
nothing good about those.
Well, they definitely used a NeoPixel lightsaber in that, and not a
So-
Galaxy's Edge lightsaber because that shit was bright.
It was bright.
I will say this. Meg pointed out to me, Star Wars Meg, that
Look,
Kenobi's
dude, there's only
lightsaber
one
almost-
Meg when you're talking about
Of
Star Wars.
course,
Just
of
so you know,
course.
there's only one, and that's Star
Of
Wars
course.
Meg.
But she pointed out to me that Kenobi's saber does kind of like bounce off a stormtrooper. It almost looks like this last episode.
So,
and
so
that,
the way,
like,
but the way I took that, Chief, was, and everyone's like, well, he got his mojo back. I was like, did he? He was hacking at those stormtroopers, right?
Right.
It
The bolts,
almost seemed
too.
like at some points, he was accidentally repelling blaster bolts, right? So I didn't take it as all of a sudden the stormtrooper armor
No.
became.
Dude, I would rewatch some of that because I'm pretty
I took
sure.
it as he was hacking at them, right?
Well,
'Cause
and he's
just
also-
not quite
I
sure
feel like
how to do it anymore.
He's also in between forms, right?
Did he
So-
not do the Anakin behind the
He
back
did.
and
He
deflect
did
one
one
down,
flurry.
He did
down
one-
the
he did
hallway in the
one
other direction?
flurry.
Like, come on now.
Well, and
Come
see, a
on.
lot of people also are like, "Oh, the spin, right? Oh, the spin,
he's
right?
starting to get it back.
The spin.
A
Oh
little
my
bit.
god, the spin
Muscle
move.
memory. It's muscle
Everybody,
memory.
Yeah, I was just gonna say muscle memory.
Everybody's
It's coming
hating
like
back.
riding a bike.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
talking about the saber spin. I'm talking about his pirouette
Mhm.
when he took out that trooper, right?
Yeah.
But if you look back at episode 1, when him and Qui-Gon are fighting, he uses that exact same move
Yes.
Mm.
when he's in episode 1. So you know what? How about, I'm going to say this again. I'm going to say this for all the people. Do your goddamn homework. I do a lot of work here to make sure you have homework. Do your homework. So
It's a ripoff, though. Obsession. It's a ripoff, right?
I
They're
agree.
just
But
ripping things off.
at least it's
no originality at all. They're just ripping it off.
But at least to me, it shows that it's like picking up it's like, you know, I'm not a musician. I'm a piss poor musician, right? But it's like picking up that instrument you haven't picked up in a decade, and you're starting to play, and you're starting to get. What do? You go back to what cross little cat cross buns, whatever the hell you played on your guitar to start, or your recorder, or your flute, or whatever shit you're playing. You went back to the basics in the beginning, and for me, that just showed him getting back, Stella getting her groove back, not it's back, but he's like, oh, this is something I did as a youngling. Let me try as a young Padawan. Let me try it again. Oh, okay. And slowly he's starting to get his groove back, but he's between forms. He's not this Ewan, right? And he's not this Ewan yet. He's still trying to find this Kenobi. He hasn't found this guy in the middle yet that is complete. He's still trying to figure out, damn, this thing's weird. I don't remember how to.
My favorite part of this criticism isn't the fact that he may or may not be between forms. It's at the very beginning, everyone was bitching about the fact that he wasn't the Kenobi everyone remembered. He didn't have his mojo. His lightsaber was buried, all that. We want that Kenobi back. Where has he been? Now, in this episode, that Kenobi's coming back, and everyone's like,
yeah,
well, they didn't explain that at all. I mean, he was a bad Kenobi. He didn't have anything going on. He didn't. Now all of a sudden he's back. I'm like, which way do you want it?
But and I understand. And I get that.
They want it their way, and they want it now.
I totally get that. I totally get that perspective.
This ain't McDonald's
for a second, but as soon as Leia
I want
calls
fries
his
with
name,
it too, please.
right? As soon as Leia's in trouble,
Chipotle.
he's got a purpose again, right? He was a man,
Oh.
yes, guarding Luke, right? But Luke from afar, and now he hears a little girl crying in the distance, right? Like he's back to focusing. He's not just trying to hide. He's at this point, he's out, cat's out of the bag. I'm here. You know where I'm at. Like here I am. Let's go. And he's starting to figure out how to use this lightsaber again, how to get comfortable. That's why that spin didn't bother me, because it's just like, you know, picking up anything you haven't done for a really long time. You go back to the basics. You start over and try to figure out your form, so to speak. So, you know, there's a lot packed into these episodes that I think people just are giving it a once watch and then checking out YouTube and for what they should be seeing, for what they
Just
should be
please,
like, you know.
whatever you do, Obsession, please don't tell me that this series is the reason why Leia named her child Ben, because I can't take it. I
don't
just can't
think so.
take that that could be possible.
I think that has more to
Please
do
don't
with
tell
Luke.
me that. I just can't.
Yeah.
That's
I really think that has a
That's
lot
the
more to
deal
do with
breaker.
Luke.
Mhm.
Luke and the reason that she names her son Ben. I think that has to do more with her training from Luke and the fact that Kenobi and now look, I'm not a big fan of Force Ghost teachings, right? Like I'm just like now all the Force Ghosts just come out and hang around the campfire and tell stories and lightsaber training. I'm not really down for all that idea. I think that's kind of a little bit of a reach for me. That Anakin's sitting here telling Luke the whole story of his life, you know, and Luke's cool with you like slashing younglings, like, oh yeah, here's the Youngling Slayer 9000, right? Like, I'm not down for that
Fly
shit.
through the saber over his shoulder, man.
Right, you know, I'm like, yeah, exactly. He's like, oh, this Youngling Slayer 9000, fuck this thing, right? Like, okay, I'm not buying that, but I think during training, I think Luke tells Leia about the time he spent with Ben, about Force Ghost time, and then maybe once in a while there's that interaction. But I think that's more of what it is that she witnessed Ben Kenobi give his life for her and Luke and Han and Chewie. I think that's more for me where that comes from, not this series, right? I kind of feel like,
and I'm with you, right? And of course, I was being totally
no, but I think there's a lot of people that are saying that shit. So I want to clarify my interpretation is more of old man Alec Kenobi looking at the two twins together for the first time in 19 years and going, may the force be with you. Good luck, kids. And her seeing that. And he didn't yell out Obi-Wan. Luke didn't go, Obi-Wan. No, he screamed Ben. And then started blasting.
And remember when Luke opened the whole, you're short for a stormtrooper, and he said, "I'm here with Ben Kenobi. We've come to rescue you." She said, "Ben Kenobi, where?"
Right.
Right. Yeah. So with the exception of this series, where they seem to like to call him Obi-Wan at the drop of the hat in front of her, which again to me is a little miffing. But okay, you got to put it in the parking lot, put it away, turn it off, right? But again, this whole Ben business, I think it makes sense, right? And it's just so interesting to me. We want the continuity to be filled in until we don't, right? And for everyone, when they do or they don't, it's such a personal experience, right? And part of the reason why I think we talk past each other on this series very specifically is because we're not on the same page in regards to the continuity. We're just not.
That's the thing. Everyone has their own headcanon for certain aspects of this story, which is fine. That's the way any series like this or any franchise is like that. Everyone is like that. But I've heard people will complain about the show possibly breaking canon, but then in the same breath will say, this show should be about somebody attacking Luke and going after Luke. And I'm like, well, you just broke canon, so you can't have it both ways.
And that was
by the way, the series not over yet.
Yeah, it's not over.
People might yet get their wish.
But you know what? If anyone comes after Luke,
we're not even in the same book when it comes to canon. Star Wars fans don't know what they want. What you talking about?
Well, and like,
we don't know.
Like Matt says, everybody wants it now, right? They want it now. They want it fast. They want it all, and they want it their way, right? This isn't KFC, guys, right?
Yeah,
it's not,
this is Disney's. This is Disney's IP.
This isn't Burger King, guys. This isn't your way, right away, right? This is a sit down, 9-course, real expensive meal, right? And you guys, look, I get it. There's just, I'm not subscribing to the hate. I get it. Y'all want to hate. Look, haters gonna hate. Right?
One of the writers or directors or somebody literally just said, canon is of the utmost importance to them.
Joby Harold.
Right.
Joby.
So just because you're upset just because people are upset with the choices being made, that doesn't mean that it is not. It's not breaking canon. It really is not. A retcon, I want people to try to move away from retcon being a bad word, because
anyone
it's
who doesn't
not.
think they did their homework. The reason why people don't like the fact that they did their homework in this series is because that homework is attached to Pablo Hidalgo's assistants, right? But I'm telling you, Rupert Friend was just on Jimmy Kimmel, and Kimmel said, well, you got stabbed in the stomach. And without missing a beat, Rupert Friend's response was, well, one of them. How the motherfucker gonna know that?
Right.
Like, who's telling me that he doesn't understand this story, right? That they didn't. You know how obscure that reference
Oh, yeah.
is? The fact
Deep
that
cut.
pounds have two fucking stomachs? Right, and this is where I'm like, so you soundbite out a part of the quote about the whole Vader and Anakin business, but you leave out the fact of, but we realized we couldn't do that because we checked on it, and so we decided that this is the right opportunity to say that he realized Vader was still alive, but that doesn't fit the narrative. So that part of the interview is not soundbited, right?
Well,
It's
I mean, let's also look at. I mean, everybody wants this to be the version in the EU, right? Everybody wants this to be the Kenobi stories of the EU and the the stories that they've heard over the years. Look, I've been saying it for a long time. The smartest, and people hate on me for this, the smartest thing Disney did when they bought the franchise is they declared everything canon and they put the gates around what was canon. And now they are bringing in the stuff they want to at the pace that they want to. They're bringing in Thrawn at the pace they want, when they want, how they want. This isn't Heir to the Empire. This isn't the Thrawn book necessarily. They're going to pick things out of all of this stuff and make it canon and bring it in the way that they can see, because otherwise everything's on the table and all of these stories and there's multiple timelines and all this shit. There's a reason they're doing it. It's a systematic attack on doing it right. It's a systematic way of doing it without really, and what better way to bring in the best parts of these stories, right? I mean, you get to bring in Thrawn, maybe the better
Live
version
action.
of Thrawn, right? Maybe
And do we really just want them to take lock, stock, and barrel a story from the EU and put it on the screen? Is
They
that
do.
really what we want?
Absolutely.
That's absolutely what they want. Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
1000%.
People cry about
I would rather have a new story.
I mean, look,
if you're just going to give me something that I've already read about in a book, what's the fucking point?
exactly.
That's for me, anyway.
I think they should take the DC animated formula for the Legends stuff, because every DC animated film is canon beat for beat. So why not just take the Legends books and do animated, call them the Dark Horse Legends? Like, you literally could. They're already hiring like Dark Horses back on board. Why not, man?
Well, and
That would be awesome.
the thing is that there's so much time to tell stories, right? There's so much time to tell
Long
these
form
stories.
storytelling too.
People are very impatient. Look, look, that
Everybody
book
wants Old
behind me-
Republic already too.
that book behind me, Ahsoka, is definitely going to get pieces of it taken out for the Ahsoka show. I have no doubt there will be specific moments of that
Or
book
Tales of the
in that
Jedi.
show, right?
I'm
Same,
hyped for that.
or Tales of the Jedi, right? So to think that these stories are they just made them useless. Oh well, they took the best parts of the stories out
They're
of
going
play.
to ruin the Old Republic because it's not going to be this, that, or the other. It's
Right.
already there, right? The barriers to entry are consistent
Right.
with any of the stuff. And for a lot of people, it wouldn't matter if George Lucas himself came back and all of a sudden became a part of Disney Star Wars. People would still say, he's not telling the stories he wants to tell.
No, it would become the narrative would become George Lucas has become a Disney simp. That would be the narrative. George Lucas has become a Disney
Legit.
Star
Not
Wars
my George
simp.
Lucas. He's
And
not
you
my
know, it's
George-
because of the
That's
comments
not
he
the
made.
George Lucas I grew
my
up with.
George Lucas. No man.
Bro, it's because he made very harsh comments about them too. So if he does now, it's gonna seem like he's a flip flopper because of
I
that
can see
one
why-
interview.
Yeah, but at the same time, that's like this is, and number one, this is business. What
But people
forget
grow
is-
up and like you can change your minds. Like that's
and
what,
that's
like,
that's the thing is that number one, people forget this is a business, right? Number one, although it is
True.
storytelling, this is number one of business. This is about making dollars. And right now, I can see George Lucas going back on those going back on his comments about the sequel trilogy and about Disney
the
themselves.
personal attack.
But
yeah.
I could see him, but I could see him going, you know what? the storytelling is finally in the hands of somebody who understands what I was set out to do, because Dave Filoni is the apprentice of George Lucas. So if anybody's going to get George back to the table to help tell stories, it's going to be Dave. It's not going to be Kathleen. It's not going to be the board. It's not going to be
the people that bought it from him. Right.
It's going to be Dave saying, look, George, this is my house now. The story is my house now. Come back and help me build some shit. Right. That's what I would love to see. Right.
I mean, I won't be as explicit as I have been in the past in regards to this topic, right? But I will say, at the moment that George Lucas sold the franchise to Disney was the moment that we should have stopped expecting that Disney was going to continue to tell George Lucas quality stories.
Yep.
And for people who are still way back there as a barrier to entry, I don't know what they're expecting will change ever. I'm not going to give up.
They were expecting some.
Stop being a fan.
I
don't comprehend.
And my favorite part
is going to happen
is so we heard this during a little bit during Visions. Visions was kind of a crapshoot for everybody, but we heard it during Boba. Well, if they mess up Boba, I'm done watching Star Wars forever. That's it. I'm out. Star Wars is dead to me. Right? I still see y'all watching. I still see y'all making videos.
Now they're saying
Still don't tune in.
I'm gonna stop watching.
Now,
bro, if they mess up Geode, I'm out.
If they mess up Kenobi, look, I was one of those people. If you mess up Kenobi, it's a dick punch. I'm out. Right?
Look, Dan the Man came back to give you the Dan the Man hot take right now, because Skynet was messing with me earlier. Star Wars fans, they were expecting their Star Wars, right? What that means is how they envisioned it, how they grew up with it. Like Matt Risman said it perfectly. They're still hanging on to their Star Wars when it's not theirs. It was never yours to begin with. It was what George Lucas has set out to do, to tell these stories. And, you know, folk, you got different facets, the OG, the sequels, the prequels. None of it matters because we're not getting what we want. We need to stop anticipating the stories that we want and just start enjoying them for what it is, because that's where headaches come from, and a lot of mucus gets clogged up in the brain with stress. And man, I'm going on a tangent, but y'all know what I'm getting at. It's not worth it, man. It ain't worth it.
Preach, girl. Preach. Preach. Let's get this man. Preach.
Let's be clear. It's not Disney beating us as Star Wars. We're beating ourselves.
Yes.
Like, we're beating ourselves.
That part.
And we are the only ones who are stopping ourselves from enjoying the franchise that we love. And these folks that say, I'm out, I'm never going to watch again, that still watch, you know why they still watch? Because they love this fucking franchise. Yeah. Whether they want to admit it or not.
Get 'em, Risman.
Right? They love this franchise, and
they always will.
Keep watching. Right, look, we have to keep watching. Otherwise, there's no franchise left.
Well, look, I'm watching it all anyway. Like I said, I lost money on this joint. I'm going to end up paying out on this joint. definitely lost $100 to Fatal J. Definitely.
I knew you were going to lose that.
Me too.
I make these bets to pay these bets. I'm just waiting till the end of the series to pay. Right? I make these bets to pay these bets, but that's also part of the fun, right? Like Fatal J was like, you ain't got to pay me. I'm like, no, I pay mine. A word to me, my word is my bond. I pay that shit.
Well, don't make any bets with Obsession for Andor though, because he's going to be nose to the ground on all the spoilers.
I got my.
This was an easy bet for people that knew what was going to happen.
Anyone who says they don't care about Andor because Andor was a putz, and why would I ever care about that character? Is going to be blown away by the quality of series we get in Andor, and I have to say
that dude's got it.
It hurts my heart. It's going to make Kenobi and Boba Fett look even worse. Because, because that series comes from a time there was no volume. They've been working on Andor for a very long time. It's all practical sets. It's all the old kind of makeup and costuming and all the rest of it. It's gonna be amazing.
Yep.
Right. So I hope any of these naysayers who are like, I'm out after Kenobi, I do hope they give it at least one more series.
You know what?
Yeah.
I know. You know what?
He'll be back first.
I call it the other way. Go. Be done with Star Wars. Star Wars sucks now. You don't need to cover it anymore.
Y'all
You know what?
preaching.
Sell your channels. I'll buy them from you. Screw it. It's out. I've already said it before. If you're out, if Star Wars is over, I'll buy your channels from you. Let's go. I'll make it my live only channel like Den and
He
Nerd.
said I'll buy your channels.
Right? Like if you're really out, get out. Be done. If this is it for you, go. I'll buy your channels, bro. I literally said that about ABJ when he was leaving. I was like, bro, if you're really out, I'll buy your channel. I ain't joking.
What's the going rate on Star Wars?
Obsessions
channels these days?
multiverse. What
We'll
is
talk
this?
about that shit. But you know what I mean? Like, if you're out, if this is really turning you off from the franchise as a whole, please, by all means, I'll show you the door.
Mhm.
Right? I'll open it for you. I'll gladly shut it behind you.
They are out for clicks. And
Don't let it hit you in the ass on the way out, my friends. Please. Don't. And you know what? Once you're out, this is like the club. There's no stamp to get back in. Once you're out, you're out. That's it. I don't want you coming back asking for your channel back.
Like
Star
I said,
Wars
take
is cool
receipts.
again. I got receipts. I'm keeping the channels and the subscribers. That's it. It's game. I will change your channel name to the Star Wars Obsession 2. Star Wars Obsession Live, the Star Wars Obsession Shorts. Sell me your channels, fools. I'm just saying.
Who really wants to quit on Star Wars?
Nobody.
Right?
Dude, they're
Nobody
talking mad
wants to
shit.
quit
Dude.
on
They're
Star
talking
Wars.
mad shit to try to get people to think that they're going to step away.
Click.
That's it.
I want to try to make some people feel a little better about the Kenobi series, a certain aspect of it, because I think a lot of people miss this point, and I never felt any anger towards this moment. I fully understood it. So everyone's complaining. A lot of people, not everyone, a lot of people are complaining that Kenobi didn't know that Anakin was alive, that Vader was alive. Well, it's very simple why he didn't know. Yoda told him to disappear. We are going to disappear until the time comes that we're needed again. Yoda disappeared the most. He went to Dagobah, he was gone. And everyone's like, well, how could Obi-Wan not know? Well, there's a very big reason.
My boy's
Two
living
big
in caves.
Yeah.
Yo, he's literally living under a rock, my guys. Literally.
But here's the thing. If Kenobi was to go and investigate the things that are going on, that's a risk. You could get caught. You could put Luke in danger if you get yourself involved. The other thing is that Vader is not well known across the galaxy until years after this. Vader is a ghost right now. Palpatine doesn't use him the way that he's used later in the original trilogy. Vader is a myth. Vader is the nightmare that people have.
You know who his front people are? The Inquisitors.
Yeah.
That's why when he shows up at the bar, the bartender's like, I know you.
Yeah.
You know why? Because he's all over the holonet. See something, say something. These are the people you report to.
See
It's not,
something, say
it's not
something.
Vader.
It's the neighborhood. They're the neighborhood watch.
They totally are.
Say something.
It's the fucking Inquisitors, right?
Well,
That's why they land their
when you
ship
sign
in
up,
the
you get a
town
free
square
whistle.
and they come to the bar.
Well, and that's just it. Is that look? I mean, you can see the fear in the people that he works with, right?
Yeah.
They're terrified of him because they don't see him often, right? He's on his planet. He's on his planet in his throne room doing Vader shit, right? He's not. I don't know if Dan's still here. I'm just going to leave him open in case he's still talking.
Yeah, that boy, Steve. We love you.
That's why when Vader shows up, everyone's like, "Who's this son of a bitch?"
Oh,
I don't know who this is.
And they're like trying to talk.
But who is he? We don't know.
They're like trying to talk to him. They're like, no, sir, my dad. And he's like, I'm not hearing that shit. In fact, you know what? I'm not hearing you at all. Dead. Right?
Bro,
Like-
in the comic that you were reading, like
All right,
the
guys.
stormtroopers confuse Vader
I
as a Jedi
finally
just because
found
he
a
has a
parking
lightsaber.
spot to see Jurassic World, so I just wanted to pop in, say bye again, and y'all have a good day.
I hope you love the
Later,
movie,
brother.
man.
Yeah, man. Enjoy.
Be safe.
Enjoy.
Yeah, I just
so like,
feel like
yeah, go ahead.
I agree with you. Vader is not ever seen. He's chilling on Mustafar. He's doing Vader shit. Even the Inquisitors. Look, the third sister, Reva's looking for an opportunity to get an audience with him. just an audience
Yeah.
with him, a conversation. The other
Yeah, the
Inquisitors
fifth brother was like, "You talked to her?"
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Right?
what?
Nobody's got access. The only person that's got 100% access is Palps. Palps is the only person that when that phone rings, you answer. That's it. No questions, right?
Mhm.
And so,
Well, Krennic, there are a few, right? Krennic, Tarkin.
right. But
But it's not
Tarkin.
Joe Blow
Thrawn.
anybody.
Look
right?
at
Tarkin's a
Rebels.
He's
real
not just
one.
having a cookout on Mustafar, literally, right?
But look at
I'm not
Rebels.
fighting
It's
over
the
for dinner.
perfect example. Yeah.
This doesn't happen.
Rebels is the
Jesus.
closest.
He just
to the
came back,
original
man. Come on.
trilogy. It's watch Rebels. It's the closest to the original trilogy next to Rogue One. Kanan and Ezra have no idea who Vader is. Vader shows up and they're like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah, they just
Yeah.
sense how
Yo,
dark he is, and
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh."
You guys already
done
talked about the
messed up.
TSA moment. I missed that when I was
Oh, the
out for a
TSA
second.
moment.
because you were talking about the fear. You were talking about the fear and everything. I can't remember the article I read, but it was very fascinating on how like that's one of the Empire's biggest flaws is that everybody is so terrified of making a mistake that's how literally easy it is to sneak past these people.
Yeah.
You just show them clearance that looks legit, and then literally put the fear.
Yeah, I mean, she's like,
Preaching.
I'm your superior. Is it? Do you always question? I mean, there's even a moment in Rebels when the rebels are taking over the base, and they're, this is a training exercise, 1 Delta Gamma, whatever it was, and he's like, are you even supposed to? What is your? And he's like, are you in the habit of asking your senior officers for clearance and disobeying orders? It's like, oh.
By the
no,
way,
sir.
if you go back and rewatch that security scene, the guy in the trench coat walks by. The guy in the trench coat whose coat they use later walks by. And the reason why I caught it, because I watch it, like the third or fourth time I watch it, I leave the adaptive speech on.
Yeah.
And the gal says, approaching security checkpoint, man in trench coat walks by. I'm like, oh, there it is. There he goes in the trench coat.
Well, and there were some very, Deborah did her homework. There was some very good references to the sequels, right? Hux getting choked out by Snoke is very, very parallel to Reva getting choked out by Vader, and literally saying the same thing.
Show.
Like, I have him on the end of a string. Like I trapped him. And Vader did the same thing. Look, and people are like, "Oh, Vader's such a simp. You just got to tell him I did this and it's all good." It's like, look, Vader did the same exact trick to the Ghost when he went and hunted them down and got Phoenix Fleet and really messed them up.
He did it in A New Hope. This
Did
was
it in
the
A New
Tarkin-
Hope.
Oh,
this was
he's
the
done it a
Tarkin
million
Vader.
times.
This
So,
was the New
That's an
Hope
Anakin
episode,
trope.
right?
That's an
Tarkin
Anakin
said,
trick.
I'm taking a great
Exactly.
risk. Vader's like, the tracker is there. We're good.
And that's
Now
why
they found Yavin 4, for Christ's sake.
And that's why they get. That's why the Muggles, and not even the Muggles, because the Muggles don't even care. That's why all the haters do your goddamn homework, my guys.
Goddamn
This is
Padawan.
old
Not even
Anakin tricks shit, right?
Just watch the movie. Right?
This is Anakin's bread and butter trick. Let him go so we can figure out where they're going on your own. And so when Reva does it, that's why he's like, most impressive, third sister. Right? I underestimated you because that's his move. You used my move. I appreciate people using my move, right? And that's why
real recognize real.
Like I'm not, and like I said, I have kept very neutral and not really issued my opinion about the show as a whole, about the characters, but there are certain instances that are nostalgic, and Reva doing that was both nostalgic for the prequels and nostalgic for the sequels.
It's just
and nostalgic for the OT.
Member berries. Big fan. You're a big fan. Member berries.
I love those.
You can't like it.
Breadcrumbs.
I'll take them all.
Fucking breadcrumbs, dude. I mean, this is why I created my channel, was to start doing
Remember
homework.
Fallen Order?
Bro.
We have to say anything but admit that the fact that we like that writing, right? Don't get me wrong. I don't like the writing unilaterally in this series. I do feel like there's parts of it that could have been better. But the problem is we can't even accept the parts of it that kind of were good.
Oh,
right?
man.
You know what? They didn't have to do that. They put some thought into it. And again, it's hitting. It may not be hitting for us in this nonsense, right? But for the majority of the folks, it's hitting the way they
My cons list is very small. It's powerful, but it's very small. And like I said, I'm waiting to allow Dave Filoni and Deborah Chow and the rest of the people involved in this to sew it up and to give me the bow that I expect to have at the end of the season. If they did go in and change it to leave room for a second season, more butter. I'm digging everything. Give Deborah another season. Maybe bring in Bryce and you two get on this train together and you two help everybody, really understand Star Wars, because I feel like and I'm going to end with two. We're going to talk about this one for a second, then I'm going to end with one thing. But am I the only one that has noticed that the women directors and storytellers in Star Wars are killing it?
Can I just have a total aside? I am totally in love with Bryce Dallas Howard after seeing her in Jurassic World. Oh my God, she is so beautiful. I was like, please. I don't care if you direct anything again. Please continue to be a
She is
amazing.
She is versatile. She's amazing.
I'm sorry for the aside, but I'm still
and make her Mara Jade.
I've always been a big fan. But yeah, I mean, it's just, to me, I just feel like the women directors are just slaying it. I mean, Bryce Dallas Howard coming out and just, granted, she's literally, it's in her veins to direct brilliance, with her dad being Ron. But what, I mean,
by the way, can we give Ron Howard a little bit of credit for saving Solo, even though it lost money?
Yeah,
can we give him a little bit of credit?
I'm not a hater of that at all.
I like that movie.
I thought it's good. Can we just?
The more I
it's
watch,
rewatchable
for
sure. I've watched it.
Yeah,
I like Solo.
But yeah, I just feel like the women are slaying it. I just feel like they just have such a grasp, and this is something to me that is unique. And again, I wish I had more women on the panel. I mean, Lainey and Kat are my two go-to female. Obviously, if I can get Star Wars Meg, she's such a hot ticket these days. It's hard to get her on the show, but it seems like for a long time, and this is maybe one of the reasons I've talked to Meg about, there weren't a lot of lady fans in Star Wars when Meg started her channel, right? And there was a lot of hate for women fans back then. And it seems to me that and I'm going to include Leslie in this right now because she hasn't shown anything negative as far as the writing or the directing or anything is concerned. But it seems to me that the women of Star Wars that are in these directorial or these storytelling positions are just understanding Star Wars maybe better than some of the premier directors that have been brought in.
I'm with you, right? And with the exception of Robert Rodriguez, who I'm still very sore at, right? Pretty much all of the directors, male or female, from The Mandalorian seem to get it. By the way, Carl Weathers, an absolute
hell yeah,
dude. Right? I got to tell you honestly, I feel like if they would let Tamara Morrison direct an episode, it would be great.
Bro, that's so smart.
We have
such a good
lot of love right now for folks who are directing these episodes and these series, that if they can just keep that train going, I think it can continue to be quite satisfying. Again, people are picking at Deborah Chow and the rest of it. I'm kind of like, really? I haven't one time sat down and watched any of these episodes and looked at my watch and said, this fucking sucks.
Yeah.
It is over. Right. I mean, maybe I had some of those reactions on Book of Boba Fett, which I wasn't a huge fan of. But for me, for Kenobi, I'm not like waiting for the torture to be over. Enjoying doing something right. If I'm enjoying it, maybe I don't know. Maybe I should enjoy it, right? But I'm saying, right. So, but I think Deborah Chow is killing it. I think I just don't know, right? I don't know what else do they want. I have no idea.
I don't get it. I mean, everybody for the last 5 years, all I've heard is I want a dark, twisted Vader. I want an evil, real dark Vader. Right? That's what I want. I want to see him using the dark side. I want to see him angry and powerful.
Not my Vader in the series.
My Vader. Equal, right? That's
enough back to flashbacks.
He would have snapped all of their neck.
And they bring in this Vader that is just amazingly dark. I mean, literally, he's walking into the hallway and you can feel how pissed off he is at the tempo of his walk, right? Because
Mhm.
usually it's slow, and he's walking down this hallway, and he doesn't even let her speak. He just snatches her out of the air, right?
So
Like
good.
Scorpion, get over here, right? It was amazing, right? And
But they didn't play the Imperial March, so the whole scene was trash.
Jesus,
If they would have only played the Imperial
that's
March,
what it is, and
then it would have been my fucking Vader.
they're
No
picking
Imperial
the
March,
dog. They're picking the
trash.
fleas.
Absolutely trash.
The 3 fleas that are left after the flea collar has been on for a month. These are the 3 fleas they're picking off the dog, right?
Mhm.
It's so crazy that people cannot dig this.
Fio scary.
I mean, God, man, like
He's not tall enough. He's not tall enough either. He's not tall enough, and his suit isn't black enough. And they don't play the Imperial March either.
I mean,
Where's
All of these
Hayden?
things are wrong.
and you're not.
All
And
of these
here,
things
now,
are wrong
here
with
is
Vader.
something I will give the haters. I will absolutely give the haters right now. I haven't seen enough Hayden.
There's
Sorry.
been no Hayden. There's
I
been
haven't
one
seen
Hayden in
there-
a
that
row.
one
on the
scene-
side.
well,
been
there's
no
Dude,
two
and that
scenes.
was amazing
The helmet
scene too,
scene.
though.
And then
He's not in the suit. Everyone's like, well, he's in the suit. He's not fucking in the suit.
No,
he's
he's-
not in the suit.
There's,
Dude, the
certain-
desert
there's probably
mirage
for
scene,
sure
the
scenes,
desert
and
mirage.
that's the thing. I went into this a while ago wondering how the heck are they going to do this? Because if they don't do James Earl Jones' voice, what's the point of having Hayden in the suit? Like I was like, there's going to
Wait,
be
hold on,
scenes where
Steve,
there's
I'm
stunt
gonna interrupt
doubles.
you. I did a video about this. Make sure to learn about the
It was a good
technology, the
video.
Reese feature technology. It was a really good video, doing really well. Continue.
All I gotta say is be patient, and there for sure probably is scenes where he is in the suit. There's 2 more episodes, and I guarantee you one of these 2 episodes
Steve,
is
it doesn't
probably gonna
matter.
have a Hayden
I
flashback.
haven't seen enough Hayden yet, so it's trash. Bait and switch.
Mhm.
No Hayden in the series. They only
I thought
use
he was
Hayden
in
in the
the suit.
interviews. It's not in the suit. It's not even
Well,
James
well,
Earl Jones'
Matt,
voice.
they're saying
Trash,
Hayden
trash,
like
trash,
the
trash.
moneymaker, not the man.
He is
No,
for certain
we
part
want
of
no,
it.
I understand, but I
He
thought
is in
Hayden
the
was
suit, right?
in the
He's
Vader
one of
suit
the
because
guys in the suit.
I
Yeah.
saw him practicing in
He is.
stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, and how cool would it be to learn that it's Hayden's voice this entire time, and they just synthesize it to make it sound like James Earl Jones?
No, but that's. I think there's a combination of.
I
think there's
think
a
in the last
combination of a
fight
couple.
that we've yet to see, not the nonsense that was in episode 3, Hayden's gonna be in the suit. Oh my gosh, really?
Well-
Hayden will be in the suit.
And how? See, and so I was one of those people. I really want to see Hayden and Ewan in their Clone War armor,
Mhm.
right? I really wanted to see some of that. So what I'm hoping is that when they, if and when they fight again, which is what part of what lost me my money. If they fight again, then I want to see more of that. Like as they're striking blades, I want to see a scene from Geonosis or a scene from one of these battles that they were in together, and like see flashes of that, just kind of like they did with all the scenes of Kenobi's dreams, right? This is another thing that really bothers me about the fandom, not about the show. Again, I'm keeping my neutral until it's over. I'm not really showing my hand. But one of the things that bothers me that the fandom is so annoyed with is that this idea that Kenobi's PTSD can last this long, right? The man is literally living under a rock. He's got no music. He's got no HoloNet 56-inch TV hanging in the corner. He's got no droid really keeping him
He's
company.
cut himself off from everything but Luke.
Everything,
And even
but
that,
droid.
he's not even allowed to connect with him.
He killed his brother, and now he has to watch his kid grow up without a father, and he can't interfere.
Broken
Right.
Kenobi is not my Kenobi.
Hashtag not my Kenobi, right?
He should have screwed everything up royally, got the whole Jedi Order disbanded, everything happened, and he should still be arrogant. I'm still the best. That's my Kenobi. The
Right.
Kenobi who doesn't care about anything he's ever done and still be the top of the top.
Yeah.
That's the Kenobi I'm waiting to see.
Well,
Oh,
and-
he's back now. Well, they didn't do a good job of bringing him back.
Well,
No, they didn't do it good. They
the
didn't
only
do it.
thing that I haven't seen is I haven't seen him find his bantha. And I haven't seen him at a campfire in the desert by himself yet. Those are
Isn't
the two
Pete
things.
Kenobi now the Crate Dragon scream? So like, when do we get to that?
Well, and here's the thing: is that at this point, we are going to see now. We're at the point now where we don't know where they're going to take us. Right? They could take us to Alderaan. They could take us back to the path, right? They could take us back to Tatooine. There's so many places that they can take us right now.
The next episode is Empire Strikes Back.
It's
right? Think about the story they're
right.
telling. The next episode is Empire Strikes Back.
Right.
So you should expect they're going to take you exactly where you think.
Yeah.
Right. To have that play out. And I think it's going to be amazing, by the way. I think people are going to like it a lot, but they won't admit it. But I think they're going to like it a lot. All I'm saying,
I think there's going to be a lot of people eating some alphabet soup at the end of this. I really do think that people are going to be eating some of their words, because it's easy to shit on a show that's not done, because it's not your way. It's not my flavor. It's not the exact way I would prepare it. But guess what? We're also not being paid millions of dollars by Lucasfilm to, it's like an involuntary lisp on the end of film. We're not paid by these people to make these stories. There's a reason these people are brought in to make these stories and to do this. And I don't have any predictions, because this show has kept me completely on my heels. Every time I think I got a grasp on what they're going to give us, I am befuddled at what I see. Especially this last episode. The Tomb really messed me up.
I was not expecting that.
That was a very powerful moment for Kenobi to walk through. And this is another reason that I think these are steps that have to happen for him. Right? Like Matt said, he can't be the Obi-Wan Kenobi we saw at the end of the Clone Wars. This is a man who has been mentally battered and abused by himself for a decade. Basically,
and like months before Anakin turned to the dark side, he lost the love of his life.
Right, but in front of his face, dude, like literally. So you have all of these moments.
He hasn't been on a winning streak. Right? Can we acknowledge?
A lot of L's.
He's not been on a winning streak.
And the equivalent of this in real life, in our world, the equivalent of where Kenobi is at the beginning of this series is very easy to illustrate. Kenobi is basically a fall down drunk that holds a job, right? That's basically what he is in the beginning of this series. He is, without the booze or the drugs. I mean, if he had death sticks, it might explain some shit to people and they'd feel better about it. But this is basically a man that is depressed. And the only equivalent I can feel is like an alcoholic, a functioning alcoholic. Go to work, pay my dues, do my shit, check on the boy, then get drunk all night until I fall asleep to get rid of my thoughts. And then my nightmares come in. So it's rinse, recycle, repeat, right? This dude is a war veteran. This dude has watched all of his friends die next to him. This man has watched his best friend and brother, who he raised from a little boy, in his mind die and burn to death, right?
Let's not forget the death of his religion, and he led to the rise of the empire.
Yeah, I mean, dude,
he's not on a winning streak,
bro. Master Paul, all right, I'm talking to Master Paul.
Nothing but L's.
Master Paul, if you want to write a song about Kenobi, he is basically a country western song. All right. I lost my ride. I lost my girl. I lost my house. I lost my religion. I lost my brother. Right. Like Kenobi is basically a bad country song. Right. And he's and it's
he's a country fan.
Dog, right?
Confirmed.
Right. It's just him and his dog.
Anakin, it's him and his dog. Right. I mean, really, that's it. Right. So you have this man that literally was before Anakin's turn. Okay, let's say before Sabine's death, because that was, I think, the peak of Kenobi's. Satine. So, thank you.
I was like, Sabine's not dead.
The peak of Satine's death in front of him is literally the peak of Kenobi's life. He's on the council, right? He's upper echelon. He's a master. His apprentice is killing it. Right, one of the greatest Jedi and generals.
Literally killing it, by the way.
Right? I mean, he's literally the peak Kenobi. And then as soon as Maul starts screwing with him, the roller coaster just starts heading down, heading down. And we are about to see. We watched the bottom.
You know what I was gonna say was in Revenge of the Sith when he says, Chancellor Palpatine, Sith Lords are speciality.
He screwed it up.
I was gonna say,
what? Your specialty getting your ass kicked, girl? Shit.
I was gonna say too is like, first of all, that was a Sith Lord, but Ever since he said that, in my opinion, was when it all went downhill. But you're right, it was Satine. It was Satine.
I mean, yeah, right about the time Maul starts gaining power, and he has to go tend to that old wound, right? And he says it in Rebels. This is a wound that won't close. This is a foe that's hard to beat. This is,
bet.
you know, it's surprising to me that people, especially in this country in 2022, don't understand PTSD a little better, don't know somebody in their lives that has it, whether it's a war veteran, a cop, a firefighter, somebody in their life that's lived through trauma,
abuse,
whatever it is, trauma. PTSD is a real thing. And I can't say it enough that this is exactly the Kenobi I wanted to see. This is exactly what I expected to see, a broken man in the desert having to find his way back to becoming the Alec Guinness version.
I don't want PTSD in my fantasy. I want to escape. But if I'm watching Moon Knight, it's okay to see a crazy man. It's okay to see a crazy man who has Marvel.
That's Marvel. Robert Downey Jr., Bruce Banner. You know that there's a lot of crazy in the Marvel universe, but in Star Wars, everybody's got to stay sane and happy the entire time. Apparently, they have
Kenobi needs to say, "Yes, I screwed it up, but by God, I don't care."
Yeah,
I am still Obi-Wan Kenobi, Jedi Knight. Hear me roar.
I'm just
it doesn't matter.
I'm just surprised at the lack of not thought, just I'm surprised at the amount of hate, I guess, is the only way I can really describe it. I know that Coach and the guys on EBN are doing, you know, inviting in people that are like, you know, come in and tell us how you like it and tell us why you like it and all this. I love those guys. I have a great time with those guys. I'm not changing your minds. The only people that are changing your minds is you and the people that are telling the story. And I would love to go debate that when the show's over. I can't have that discussion now while we still have 2 weeks, because I think they're going to kick us in the nuts again, at least one time in the 2 episodes. So I'd love to get over there and chat with them and just give them both barrels.
I was going to say,
but yeah, if you want to jump, we're going to end this in a couple minutes anyway.
Thanks for having me, by the way.
Dude, thanks for coming. I know you have been on the page. Like, I've been watching you everywhere, and I'm like, dude, go Matt.
Haven't I?
Go Matt Risman. I'm telling you, I think this is one of the clones that was not usually let out. This is one of the moderator clones that don't let out.
I have something to say. I have something.
Dude, I love it. I love your positivity right now. I'm going to continue to succubus off of you during this time, because I want your positivity in my stream more. Clip that shit.
Clip that
shit. Right? We're gonna suck the positivity off of you like a leech over the next 2 weeks, my guy.
Before I go, peace and love.
Like a boar gullet.
Number 2, don't let him take your love of Star Wars away. Right?
Never.
Keep the love alive.
Don't
beat yourself up about it. If you like it, you like it. If you don't like it, that's fine too. But just continue to love Star Wars.
Yeah. Thank you, brother. Thank you for stopping in. We're going to talk more. Believe it. We'll see you soon, man. Yeah, guys. I said,
you know, it is, people forget, and it's been happening throughout the stream, and I want everybody watching and any haters out there, you see the shape that our face is making, this like your mouth kind of goes like upward like this, right? That's a smile, and that's allowed to be associated to talking about Star Wars. I don't know if a lot of people knew that, but it's totally acceptable.
Yeah, it's
100%
acceptable.
allowed.
It's encouraged, especially here. Like I said, I'm going to let out my dirty laundry on one stream. I don't know how it'll be recepted. When the show's over, I'll air out all my dirty laundry on here and tell you what I really think about this series. But I am just surprised at the hate. I really am. I understand people get upset at it's not my headcanon, and for me that word is basuda. That word is trash. I don't like that headcanon idea. There's a reason there's canon and there's everything else if you choose to associate yourself with everything else, but their canon is law, right? That's it. It's law. In the Star Wars universe, Lucasfilm sets the law. They are the sheriff, and that's it. And so if you have your own headcanon, cool story, bro, but that's not real. And let's talk about what's real and not what's in Fantasyland. So I don't mean to disrespect anybody, but if your headcanon is not jiving with what they're putting out, then I apologize for you not being happy, because I'm pretty happy being surprised and literally saying holy shit when I'm watching this show. There are so many moments when I'm holy shitting.
I don't think I've ever genuinely been disappointed. What happens for me is the confusion, and the confusion leads to the wanting to find the answers and the speculation and the going into comics and lore and stuff like that. Like, people have to, and I always, we pick on muggles, but bro, like the casual fans out there that are not, you're a casual and not willing to go seek the answers in the lore. Like, this shit's deep, like Lord of the Rings. Like, you can find answers that explain things to you that piss you off, I promise.
Well, and some of the answers may not be canon now, but may become canon soon, right? And that's the
people cherry picking like shitty episodes that have plot lines that are not even finished yet. Like,
well, and the Kenobi, and the Kenobi homework I just did, that's why I did that, because I knew that they were going to pick a couple of things out of here. They're picking stuff out of this. Again, this is what they're going to do with the Ahsoka book. This is what they're going to do with James Lucerno's Plagueis. If they bring Plagueis to life, it's not
Acolyte, bro, I'm telling you,
it's not going to be verbatim that book. So if you appreciate the book, appreciate the story, because look at any other movie you're watching in the world. The book adaptation is not necessarily 100% accurate. There's stuff left out. There's stories and plot holes that happen because they're trying to illustrate a novel into something that we can visualize. It's tough. Coffee on Korriban joined us for the last couple minutes. I wanted to say hello, welcome. I know we invited you in earlier, but you couldn't make it. Welcome.
Hello there.
Hello there.
So real quick, have you enjoyed? First of all, I want to let you guys know we were Matt, I, and Coffee. We were all on a stream today in the chat. There's a monthly thing that happens through StreamYard's YouTube. It's an absolute blast. It's a knuckle biter. Literally, you're sitting there hoping they pick your name, but not hoping they pick your name. It's a blast. I'll put a link in the description at the end. It's a blast. I got chosen today. I got a thumbs up. That's what I needed. Matt got roasted when he went through. Hawks got a W when he went through. We're hoping the Coffee gets in. Now we have a separate Discord chat just for that. Sheev, you got to get in there.
Sounds like it.
They basically review your channel and tell you what you're doing wrong. And there's a normal round where they give you 3 strikes. If you get 3 things for sure. X, you get off and you're kicked out, but you can advance. It's a whole thing. I'll send you a link. It was a lot of fun to learn how to content create better, right? How to make our videos get the legs, get in the algorithm and all that stuff. And Coffee was in there today, and he was on my mind when I did the stream. So I'm like, let's bring him in, and here you are. So what's cracking with you? What do you think of Kenobi? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you mad? What's going on?
I'm reserving my entire judgment for the show until after it's all done, which I think is a wise thing to do. I could jump to conclusions, and of course all the negativity gets the clicks, and I don't really want to be like that. I do have my problems with the show, as I'm sure everyone that's being genuine does, but I'm not letting those things ruin my good time. And I said even before the series started a couple months ago, this time through, I'm really staying off of YouTube, especially for the people that are negative, because I just want to go through it, enjoy it, and then I'll have my honest review afterwards. But one thing I have noticed that's really stuck out to me is that for the casual fan, they are over the moon with this series, more so than Mandalorian. My boss, a couple of my coworkers, Daniel Batal, I think the guy on the StreamYard stream earlier, said he was loving the show. All the kind of casual fans that don't get into the nitty gritty, and for all those people, they love this show so far. Father Time, one of my regular guests on my channel, who's actually happens to be my dad as well, he loves it as well, and he brought up a good point. He's like, what is it about the show that people are hating? Like, what else do you want? And X-Wing had some good points in retort to that, but it comes down to, like, we are getting the Kenobi we wanted. We are getting an amazing storyline with Leia, and people are getting hung up on a couple things they don't about Kenobi, and also a couple things that they say
Skynet.
Skynet.
Skynet got you. Go ahead and repeat that last one. I think you're better now.
I was just saying, people are getting caught up on a lot of the small stuff, and I'm just gonna wait till it's all over, whether that be the first season, and I'll judge that, or if they do 2 seasons, then I'll judge the entire thing after that. But I'm enjoying it so far, and that's really all I can ask for. I don't hate it, and so that's a win with the current Star Wars climate.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's a big win. I mean, especially being able, I've had conversations with guys that are literally like, I can't even go into my collectibles rooms. I can't even look at some stuff that's on TV. And I'm like, look, I feel for you. I really do. I understand not being happy with stuff, but it's tough right now because there's so much expectation. This is Boba Fett for me all over again for the non-muggles, right? For the content creators. This is a difficult time because there is a lot of division. Boba Fett caused a lot of waves. This is causing more waves than I really thought. But again, I'm not done. We're not done yet.
We're not done yet.
And so I'm looking forward to the end. I'm looking forward to the last, basically the last 2 acts of this show. I hope and I've said this before, Disney, Lucasfilm, I hope you're actually going to sandbag the leakers and spoilers here. I hope you're gonna change the ending just to screw with some folks, because that's the thing about today's media, folks, is if they want to change something when it's already out, they can do whatever they want. It's a snap of a finger for them. It's an edit. It's an overnight edit for the producers, directors, and writers.
They could have also leaked false information on purpose.
Absolutely.
They might not be changing anything. It could be what it was, and they just leaked something else.
And that's always been that's always been what
Coon instead of Luke.
Yes, that's all I've ever wanted, is for them to sandbag the leakers and spoil.
That's why I love leaks, because I'm waiting for the day, baby. I'm waiting. Because not for nothing. I'm not trying to sidebar here, but we know Kevin Feige's involved now. And we know they've completely included the Hulk, or what was it? They omitted the Hulk from a trailer, and he was actually in the trailer. Movie.
The Endgame trailer showed Hulk when it was actually
and again
Hulk
they did it with Pepper Potts.
Yes.
So there are moments where they're tricking us in trailers, and I feel like Star Wars eventually is going to have to. So
and I feel like
in Ahsoka,
this is their largest series that's ever been dropped. Right? Look, I know that there's a lot, but this is the biggest, most anticipated, most worldwide watched show they've ever done. Even though the scores and people are throwing temper tantrums, this show has done better than they ever anticipated, because it hits so many generations of fans. You got the new ones, the younglings. You've got old men that were around when the old OT trilogy came out and watched them all in theater. You got the next gens. That's me, that watched the prequels in the theaters. It came out when I graduated high school in 99. That is exactly when Sheev, I didn't want to put you on blast on that one. That came out the year I graduated high school. I watched all of these in the theater. I watched all of the sequels in the theater. There's different Star Wars generations of fandom, and this show seems to be touching all of them.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. And I'm looking forward to the finale. I've enjoyed watching Coffee's reaction videos. They've been fantastic. I've been watching Sheev. It's tough with Sheev now because he's done with Clone Wars. I feel like it's time after this series maybe to do some Rebels walkthrough, because I've enjoyed the shit out of your watches.
We'll see. I'm playing through some games and stuff. I want to do Rebels leading into Ahsoka.
Yeah,
and I know that'll be in 2023.
So are you doing you're doing Fallen Order right now? Yeah.
I did Fallen Order alongside Clone Wars leading into Kenobi.
Yep. So, and I know Matt just did a Fallen Order playthrough again.
I started Force Unleashed, actually.
He's doing Force Unleashed in anticipation of the Star Killer in the sequel game.
Well, and what you guys don't know is that
got long hair. It's weird.
Chief got his autograph session at Celebration, and he did ask Sam, when are we going to see Star Killer again? And Sam,
do you think he'll come back? And he said it's possible. It's possible.
Let's go.
It could happen.
Let's go.
I feel like there's
give me hope.
Yeah, exactly, right?
There's another whole long conversation for that for that.
Oh, I started to
Bill?
edit on that.
I just came up with an idea.
Oh, hot take. Oh
Run.
shit, he's walking
Oh,
away.
he's actually doing
He's getting the
something.
fart gun.
That's it. He's getting something good.
You have the second one, bro?
He's
I'd
got
be
a
so
lot, dude. He's
jealous.
got
I
everything.
do. But what if the Star Killer that we get is this one?
That's
Yes.
what I'm saying, dude.
He's the first brother. I'm making that helmet right now. I just started the
Ooh.
3D print.
Oh
on
wait,
that.
put that back up. That does look very, very Inquisitor.
Yeah, the Inquisitors, I'm telling you, were inspired by him for sure. 100% they were.
It's the
Okay, so we're
alternate
gonna
ending.
we're gonna extend this a couple seconds. So for me,
We don't know where any of those Inquisitors came from.
Star Killer is everybody says, well, he's too OP. He's too OP. Well, the first one dies.
Definitely is.
The first one dies, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and no spoiler alert. If you haven't played the game, it's only 20 years old. Star Killer dies in the first one, so it's totally plausible to throw that story into this and have Vader just store his DNA at the end of a show or at the end of a movie or something. Like it's total. And Sam, what a great age for Sam to play Star Killer, right? Do a little bit of that aged aggression shit that they did. He's still young enough to do kicks and flips, and he's sexy as shit, and he looks great in Celebration. I mean, you could absolutely do a shirtless scene with him, and the girls are going to be like, "Oh my god, oh my god!"
And no one's gonna
We
question
will
why his
too,
belly button's
so.
hidden. Like,
Yeah, no one's going to question nothing, bro. It could be epic. Bro. Just saying. I'm in. I want it. I want Star Killer. I think it'd be
Yeah.
great. I want Star
first
Killer to
brother.
be
First
to
brother,
absolutely
first
Very
see,
interesting.
hot take. Could Star Killer be the survivor
Oh, we were talking
like
about that
theories
the other
like
day.
that.
Yeah.
in the Bracta tank?
Mhm.
Oh,
the flashback?
I yes, I kind of speculated. I don't think it is, but I think it could I think that could lead to it. You know what I mean?
Okay,
would
so hear me
How
out
cool would
because
it
this
be to see old man Sam Witwer with gray hair floating in a Bacta tank?
this thought's gonna leave my brain, but
Go,
in the
go, go.
in Fallen Order, he floods the whole thing, right?
Mhm.
Entire thing's flooded, evacuated, right? In theory,
The-
think about it being
The
evacuated.
Fortress Inquisitorius?
Yeah,
or-
yeah, yeah.
I think just that level.
Okay.
I don't, yeah,
I don't think the whole
know.
thing sank.
I don't know.
I just
and honestly,
imagine-
Vader did a lot of the damage.
I think it would be freaking dope if that survivor was found in Fortress Inquisitoris, and after he like pulls the water back out of the entire base because he saw like the lightsabers, he's gonna go in there and gather up Jedi lightsabers, maybe try to track these people down. He finds that tank there underwater,
That'd be dope.
and he was just abandoned and left behind.
I still want Star Killer to be Camino, a secret lab
See,
on Camino.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying is I literally started the process of a video yesterday where it's not going to be Camino now, but it'll be Wayland. I'm making that helmet too. I'm not doing that one. I'm doing the one with the sides on it. That's so
look
sick.
at all those lightsabers, guys. Wow,
Yeah.
That's so sick.
bro. Well, I'm just saying, Star Killer can be done. Disney, you can do it. It can be done. We absolutely
do it.
need it. I think it's a story that everybody would like to see, and it can become canon and join the ranks. Last thoughts, anybody? Predictions, thoughts, comments, what you got going on? I'm gonna let you have it. Take the floor. Sheep, go ahead.
I guess I'll start first. Just check out Vader's Lair if you haven't already. I just did a kind of full scope of the Inquisitor video where I kind of just explain them and what they've kind of gone through in canon. So if you guys want to check that out to get a little bit more knowledge on them, definitely go check it out. And then whenever I do put that Star Killer video out, check that out too.
Hawks, anything brewing? You got a new game?
No,
yeah?
the Cycle Frontier is a game that just released. It's very similar to like the Extraction first person shooters that I play, where if you go in and die, you don't bring any of that gear out. So it's very high risk, high reward. And I'm really fine with keeping all of like Coffee on Korriban's opinions about like the show overall, like right here on this channel. So if you guys enjoy this group of guys talking, this is where I'm going to be. I'm probably not going to be doing a lot of that shit on my own channel. Just going to be honest.
Yeah. Come over here. See Hawks and gets Hawks' opinion.
Nice.
Coffee, what you cracking? You're doing something on Monday, yeah?
Yeah, I have a Monday show. I've been doing that pretty regularly. When Monday nights, typically at 10 Eastern PM. And I think Obsession, I would love to have you on if you're free on Monday. We were kind of talking about that.
Yep, I'm around. Let me know what time. Send me a link. I'm in.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that. And yeah, so on my channel, if no one's familiar, we like to talk about the deeper, more philosophical aspects of why we like Star Wars and why we might not like Star Wars. So if you're more high-minded, I guess, in the Star Wars fandom instead of just pure emotions, this show is terrible, then we didn't appreciate to have you over here on Korriban. And one quick thing I wanted to say about the leaks that you guys were talking about earlier, we have to keep in mind that if Lucasfilm doesn't want something leaked, it won't be leaked. True. And I'm thinking back to the Luke Grogu at the end of Grogu and Luke. Yeah, Grogu even in the beginning of Mandalorian, even existing, was kept a secret.
Mm-hmm.
So if they want things to stay hidden, they won't be leaked. They know how to take the precautions. So they can definitely manipulate leaks however they want.
And I think they do. And I think that they are going to sandbag eventually. I absolutely think there's a rope-a-dope coming here pretty quick. If they didn't do it already, I think they're getting hip to it because they've already done it once with the Luke, making it a different Jedi master, putting on a helmet, putting on a head, like
what Brent said in the chat. Reva stabbing the Grand Inquisitor wasn't leaked.
Yeah, I mean, this stuff, and I'll let Matt finish up, and then we'll go into Reva. Matt, what do you got going on? I know you got something going on Wednesdays now, yeah?
I got a new show on Wednesdays, Way Back Wednesday, which is dedicated to retro gaming. Next week, we're playing Super Mario Brothers 3, the All-Stars edition from the Super Nintendo. That's going to be fun. And currently, I am replaying The Last of Us in anticipation of the remake that comes out in September. If anyone would like to see me embarrass myself and crying on camera, go watch the first round of that.
And it keeps getting funnier every single time I see it.
That game's heavy, bro.
That game's heavy, dude.
Heavy. It's so heavy, and I
was watching you with my morning cup of Joe.
No, don't start that game in the morning.
We'll
ruin your whole day.
And I was like, "Oh, here he goes! Here he goes!"
Dude, I was playing earlier today and I stopped on purpose at where I got up into the game because I was like, there is more heavy stuff coming. I'm like, I can't do this right now.
Yep. Gotta have a quiet house. Kids can't be here. Gotta be in the right state of mind. Like no
kids.
No kids. Dude, that shit's deep. When the little girl gets shot, that's where I was like, oh shit, here it comes. He's got a little girl. It's gonna get him. It's gonna get him.
Every time.
It was like watching the monster chase you. It was fantastic.
I purposely did not watch that stream because I have two daughters and I don't even know what happens, but I don't care to know.
That one scene,
I don't blame you.
I was like, oh, here it goes. It's going to get his ass. And it sure did. So get over there and watch. It's actually, the gaming is beautiful. That game is just lovely to watch. It's really a very well made game.
It really is.
Just watching it. I've enjoyed it. So I'm going to finish up with this. This wasn't leaked. But at the same time, the people that are making this show have an understanding of Star Wars that I think makes most of ours look foolish. And I say that because this is how I interpreted what Rupert said on Kimmel, is that basically the Grand Inquisitor has two stomachs. His species has two stomachs. That's how I gathered that. There's not two Inquisitors. There's not a clone of him running around. It's not a different guy.
Who knows?
Right. How I read that Kimmel interview is that, or how I watched that Kimmel interview is that the Grand Inquisitor's species has two stomachs, right? Maybe that's when he thins out. Maybe that's something that they're building into the story, that one of his stomachs is stapled and he's only got one, and that's what thins him out, right? And makes that slender appeal. I don't know, right? All I'm saying is there's a reason he's not dead.
I would love that.
That would be awesome, bro. I know it's such a reach.
What you're saying,
it's so bad. It's such a bad reach. But
this is a two stomachs full Inquisitor that we're looking at.
Yeah. This is like
a right after Thanksgiving dinner.
Stapling surgery and goes and gets all that stuff done, right? I'm just grabbing toilet paper and wetting it and throwing it on the wall and seeing what sticks right now. I'm just throwing shit out there, guys. So my point
I
being
love
is
how we're theorizing about the stomachs
yes,
and the
yes,
potential weight loss of a Powin.
yes.
Oh, that's
But my point is,
fantastic.
I think that these people understand Star Wars enough to know enough about species to
Mhm.
know that this person is not dead. That's not where all organs are not in the same place. All things are not equal between species. And for me, that brings me hope that these people actually go deeper into species orientation, go into the way that each creature is built, because they're doing their homework. They're basically sitting at the archives of the Jedi and doing their homework on a regular basis. So it gives me hope.
Jimmy, me too.
Jimmy, me too.
He said, "I wish somebody would stab my
Stab
second
stomach. Right. I mean, me too. Maybe it'll slender me
Yeah,
out.
yeah. I hear you.
I don't know. But yeah, man, I just feel like there's so much more to come. There's still 2 weeks, and I just feel like being around the positivity right now is a better space to live in. And being a shill, if this is what we are, if I'm a shill because I like this, then I'm a shill. I am, second in line in all of Shillington next to Star Wars Santa. But I hope that people come here and understand that this is not a space that we want to be negative. This is not a space that I want that stuff around as little as possible. I am up for the spirit of debate. Let's talk about this stuff, but I don't want to just shit on things when they're not finished, or even if they are, because the more we shit on this stuff, no matter how many clicks it gets, no matter how much publicity it gets, it's bad for us in the long run, because that means that they might stop making more content. So if you're okay with that, them just stopping making content at all and don't want them to ruin your headcanon, then cool. Keep complaining, write Lucasfilms, put your videos out, tweet it, all that stuff. But if you want to continue to try to get Disney to let us have access and to let us get more and to let us one day maybe open the ranch to some of us idiots to go look at some stuff, I don't think you're going to get that by shitting on them. So
we could break in like in Fanboys.
We could break in like in Big Bang too. I mean, I'm all about it. If you want to look, dude, I don't have to outrun them. I just have to outrun you. Okay, that's it. I just have to outrun you. So I'm good. Whenever you want to storm the castle, let's go.
I'm in.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
Really, and if it's simple too. If you think about it, Grand Inquisitor, 2 stomachs. Qui-Gon, 1 stomach.
1 stomach. That's it. Just 1 stomach on the human.
I mean, Star Wars ain't that deep, guys.
Sometimes
it's just all about the number of stomachs. That was the whole thing George Lucas wrote about. The first line he wrote about Star Wars.
All about stomachs.
It's all about the stomach.
The Force, it binds everything in there.
It's all about spaceships. It's all about stomachs.
All right, I'm calling it. Okay, so as always, please, everybody, get your pets spayed and neutered. Help control the pet population. I have not been censored by them yet, so I'm going to continue to use their tagline. Don't forget, love your pets, love your friends, love your family.